Right. I mean, I was speaking with analysts yesterday who tell me that the American economy, our economy, can really handle oil being elevated for quite a long time. $100 here, $110 there for a barrel of oil isn't really going to cripple us. Where we're going to feel the most pain is if this war does extend a long period of time, and if that then plays a role into inflation. If we start to see inflation go back on the rise, that will really hurt the American public. And then also you have to factor in interest rates. What's going to happen with those if this war continues? I've heard some projectors, some forecasters saying we might no longer have another rate cut this summer. In fact, a few are saying there might even be a rate increase. So it's really watching how long this conflict carries out for it is really what is concerning investors the most.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christina Thompson. We appreciate your report.
Thanks, Christina.
So you know what? There's a lot of conflicting information. People are placing bets if the war actually ends within a few weeks, but other people are actually weighing on whether it's a protracted war.
I think more than ever, people who are involved in the public markets are looking at President Trump's every single Truth Social. We're seeing how it's moving markets today. Again, Dow futures down, all indices down. But I think ultimately, we'll be seeing an end to this. I do believe an end is in sight. The question is when. President Trump does have a plan. I believe we should have more faith.
Yeah, but then when he says one thing and then the other side says another thing, that causes a lot of confusion, actually reinforces uncertainty, which actually...
Journey to find answers to life's biggest questions. Watch Road Trip to Truth, Monday and Saturday on theDove TV, encouraging and informative. Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Well, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Just wanted you to know it's Thursday.
It is, and it's a little chilly on this Thursday.
Know, it said that last night. It said it was going to drop down. It did. It did.
Yeah, my dashboard dinged at me on the way in.
It say snow?
Yeah, it's got that little flash. It tells me when the temperature reaches that point where if it did have a little precipitation, it could snow, and it's kind of warning you that the roadway might be a little slick.
Well, it got cold last night.
Yeah.
But warm weather's coming again.
Here it comes, yeah.
So we're in that Oregon cycle. Wait 15 minutes.
That's right. On Sunday, we could hit 75 before it starts to go down again. Anyway, good stuff. You know, it's supposed to warm up, and then next week, Easter week, it's supposed to rain. Exactly. Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
All right.
Anyway, stick around. We'll eventually get to where you want to be.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah.
There you go. Good morning to you. Happy Thursday. And Jerry's here. That's all that counts.
Oh, yeah, you bet.
He rode his little red wagon in this morning. Yeah. No wonder it was cold. You were
with one leg. I put my bad leg in the wagon and I scooted along like this, steering with the handle. Yeah, we all have done that at one time.
We sure have. All right, good morning to you. What do you got, man?
Well, first of all, it's National Equal Pay Day. Oh. It talks about equal pay for men and women. It really boils down to
no more glass ceilings.
Merit.
Merit.
Yes. Paid based on merit. Yes.
It should.
Is your job valuable? How well do you do it? And that is the reward that you should get for it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's also Epilepsy Awareness Day, or Purple Day, aiming to increase the public's knowledge of a neurological condition affecting nearly 50 million people worldwide. Again, also known as Purple Day. You see the purple behind me?
Yeah.
Okay, it's purple, yeah. So if you see somebody in purple today, you know why.
Okay.
Also, National Nougat Day, celebrating a soft and chewy or sometimes hard and crunchy candy often found at the center of a candy bar, nougat.
Oh.
Yeah, made by whipping egg whites together and adding honey or sugar, roasted nuts, and sometimes candied fruit. Some say nougat has been a sweet treat since ancient Rome, enjoyed both as a candy all on its own or paired with chocolate and other flavorings. You nougat in the middle, chocolate on the outside, it's all good. Of course, varieties of nougat are found in Three Musketeers, Mars, Snickers, Milky Way Zero, salted nut rolls, Reese's Fast Break, Reese's Whips, Baby Ruth, and others.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all had nougat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's sweet and it's good.
It's good.
Absolutely. And then top it off, we should have this in reverse, but top it off, it's Spinach Day.
Spinach.
Yeah, you know, spinach, a leafy
Popeye.
green vegetable. Yeah, that's right. Native to ancient Persia and has been cultivated for over 2,000 years. Its fame, check this out, Perry. Its fame skyrocketed in the 1930s thanks to Popeye the Sailor Man, whose love for spinach reportedly boosted U.S. spinach consumption by 33% during the Great Depression. Wow. Interestingly, raw spinach is about 91% water, making it almost as hydrating as cucumbers.
Yeah.
And spinach has been used in unusual ways. Medieval artists extracted its green pigment for ink and paint, and it was one of the first vegetables grown in space. It's packed with vitamins A, C, K, antioxidants, and fiber, making it a true nutritional powerhouse. And no wonder Popeye said, "I'm strung to the finish 'cause I eat my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man."
Hey,
Doot, doot.
you did that pretty good.
There we go.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Thank you very much.
Have you ever cooked spinach?
Yes, absolutely.
You can put a whole pile of spinach into a pot and it boils down to nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. A little garlic in there.
But it's packed with nutrients.
Oh,
there you
good
go.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right, for all you spinach farmers.
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Wow. Speaking of Popeye,
Here's a look at our weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon and southern Washington, expect a cold start with frost in many spots, then sunny afternoon with daytime highs reaching the mid-50s from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Down the Willamette Valley, morning frost and pockets of fog give way to sunshine with highs in the mid-50s in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 57 in Eugene with lows in the low 30s. For Central Oregon, it'll be sunny but chilly. Highs top out in the low to mid-50s, including 54 in Prineville and around 51 in Bend and Sun River. Boise stays sunny as well, but cooler than recent days with a high near 54. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay warms to around 58 after a frosty start, while Port Orford and Brookings reach the upper 50s under sunshine. Crescent City also stays sunny but breezy at times with highs near 62. In southern Oregon, widespread frost gives way to a nice sunny afternoon. Highs reach the low to mid-60s in Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland, while Klamath Falls will be in the upper 50s. For Northern California, sunshine dominates with a mild spring day. Wairika reaches the mid-60s, while Redding and Sacramento will be near 79 and near 80 in Chico. In the Bay Area, another dry day with mostly sunny skies. Highs will range from near 80 in Santa Rosa and 79 in Napa. San Francisco's high will be in the low 70s and upper 70s in San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
there's a look of our backyard. Still some clouds over the top of us, and but slowly breaking up and warming up for a couple of days, so we'll take that.
All right. Time for some encouragement here with Dr. David Jeremiah.
One of the things we don't take time to do is take inventory, to consider our ways. How are we doing with all of this? We run so fast from one part of the project to the next, we never have a moment to sit back and say, how am I doing? Am I doing better this year than I did last year? Am I growing in my relationship with the Lord? Have you considered your ways? That is a tremendous call to action for all of us, especially at this certain part of the year. Consider your ways. Stop and examine your life. Someone once said that an unexamined life is not worth living. So consider your ways. Ask yourself, how am I doing here? And for the second time, the Lord uses this phrase. In other words, examine your own hearts. Think about what you're doing. God examines the hearts of the people through the words of Haggai. And he tells the people that they looked for much, and it came to little. And when they brought it home, God said, I blew it away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, do you take inventory? You ever stop and think about, well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
When's the last time God changed your mind?
Oh. Do you want to talk about how he changed my mind? Yeah.
The process can be a little painful.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are you open enough that God can maybe change your mind? And the only way you can do this is take inventory. What am I doing that's got me into this mess? Or what am I doing? Why does God step back and I'm still walking forward?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So a little bit stuff there.
Yep.
All right, good morning to you. Let's take a look at some of the top stories on this Thursday morning. Interesting, court story yesterday. The Los Angeles jury found Mark Zuckerberg's Meta and Google's YouTube liable in groundbreaking lawsuit concerning the harm of children using platforms, awarding this young girl a $3 million damage. Mm-hmm. So this is opening the door. As we know earlier, in a Texas court, you had YouTube and you had Facebook and Instagram get awarded, or shouldn't get awarded, were fined $376 million or something like that. And then here's this case in LA for $3 million. And you bring up a good point. What's YouTube have to do with this? I don't know what the connection is with YouTube.
I don't either, because I don't think of YouTube as a traditional social media platform. We know that it is the largest platform for video consumption in the world. Mm-hmm. I mean, more than any other TV platform, anything. But so I'm trying to connect those dots, and a few other people are as well, but they got a judgment against them.
Yeah, and so I don't know. Well, anyway, I haven't read the case, but let me just say this. This door of the social media's grooming children, if I can use that, or certainly trolling them.
Or allowing predators to do the same.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting to me today? We live in this world that everything you do is being watched.
Oh, boy.
Whether you like it or not, or whether you believe it or not.
Yes, good point.
You're being watched. And so it's not as if these large social media platforms don't have knowledge of bad people posting. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything about it. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so, anyway, I think this opens the door. I think you're going to see a lot more people jumping in.
Oh, boy, I think you're right. Yeah. And I think there's also a danger in this. And the danger, because there are legitimate cases, there are situations where we know that these social media platforms are falling short of their responsibilities, especially with kids. But there's another element in this, and that's parents. You can't just let your kids be babysat by social media. You have to have a handle on what they're doing.
Absolutely.
When we grew up, screen time meant how long are we sitting in front of the TV?
Yeah.
Well, parents were mindful of that as well.
Yeah.
This is the same thing. It does not absolve you of your parental responsibilities.
It does not.
Get on your kids. As Pam would say, when we had kids, she goes, sometimes you just got to sit on them.
Sit on them.
Sit on them.
Rehatch them.
That's it. That's right.
Well, I will say this. This hopefully will lead towards lifting the immunities from these guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
They have this unparalleled immunity, and that has to go away. They should not only have these guys get sued and lose. Mm-hmm. I think this opens the door, and the best thing that Congress can do, and it's big money.
Yeah.
Just lift the immunity.
Right. And again, too, if you're wondering where's TikTok and some of the others in this judgment in Los Angeles, they already settled with the plaintiffs.
See, which is an admission.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, back to the war. The president is running out of patience. He went from 48 hours to 5 days, and now he's basically saying, Iran, because Iran basically said to his 15-point plan, have a nice day.
Exactly, yeah.
They thumbed their nose at it. So the only thing I can say is he's now gearing up. In the meantime, what has been done over there? Well, CENTCOM reports, if you can imagine this, since the beginning of the war, the United States has struck 10,000 targets inside Iran operation.
My goodness.
That's just the United States.
Whoa.
Okay?
Whoa.
And Navy Admiral Brad Cooper talks about that, and here's what he had to say.
We're in the fourth week of the campaign and remain on plan or ahead of plan in achieving very clear military objectives for eliminating Iran's ability to project power in meaningful ways outside its borders. U.S. forces have struck more than 10,000 military targets. In fact, we hit the 10,000th Iranian target just hours ago. And if you combine what we've accomplished with the success of our Israeli ally, together we have struck thousands more, clearly demonstrating that we're stronger together. Our precision strikes have overwhelmed Iranian air defenses and our combat flights over Iran are having tangible effects. Here are a few examples. For decades, Iranian warships have roamed regional waters, threatening and harassing global shipping. But those days are over because we've now destroyed 92% of the Iranian Navy's largest vessels. They are not sailing, and my operational assessment is that they've now lost the ability to meaningfully project naval power and influence around the region and around the world. As we've highlighted previously, Iran's drone and missile launch rates are down by more than 90%, meaning their ability to attack American forces and regional neighbors is drastically reduced. And not only have we significantly degraded Iran's naval, drone, and missile capabilities, we've also removed the regime's ability to rebuild them.
Well, look, this is big. In the meantime, Iran seems to be running out of whatever they have left.
Yeah.
And the strikes are, they're still deadly. And what we don't know is what is left in their arsenal, and is it laced with anything nuclear?
Right.
We don't know that.
Well, you know, it's interesting. One of the things, I'm looking at an article here right now. It's on Fox. And basically, it's talking, it says the lead into this says over 90% of Iranian missiles intercepted. But a dangerous imbalance is emerging. And this is interesting. They're dealing with an imbalance that I've been thinking about, and that is we have seen the elevation of drone warfare, especially in Ukraine, and, you know, a lot of the drone activity from Iran. It turns out that the most effective weapon right now that Iran is using is are drones that cost about $30,000 to manufacture. We're shooting them down with multi-million-dollar missiles. They say the imbalance is telling, and in a long, protracted conflict would weigh heavy on those who are making the multi-million-dollar missiles to shoot down the measly $30,000 drones. And so we're seeing this kind of, but I think it just boils down to, at this point in time, you know, we see a financial imbalance between the two. I think at this point in time, we're still willing to spend the money.
Well, at war, who cares?
Exactly.
I mean, if you're going to look at it that way, you stop everything.
Right. But, you know, it's interesting because we have seen this drone thing, and it seems like they're putting a lot of their chips in that drone basket right now.
Yeah. And even mines.
Yeah. Yes.
They're dropping some mines out. I don't know. Look, obviously, Iran's got some capabilities left, number one. Number two, we don't know who's got their hand on the big trigger.
Yeah.
We don't know who President Trump is talking to, and even if that person is legitimate. Yeah. So onward. You keep moving on.
And did we ever find out what that big present was?
No.
No.
No. Anyway, I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a flying carpet.
That could be. I hope so.
To go along with the big 747 he got from Qatar.
Yeah, whatever happened to that thing?
Well, it's being renovated.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I think there is plans for him to fly in it before he leaves off.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I don't know, but so you get a 747 800 or whatever it is, a big one.
Okay.
From Qatar as a present.
Yeah.
Okay. It's laced in gold, which is his style. Okay. So what do you get from the people you just wiped out? You get a magic carpet. You get a flying carpet.
What a thought. There's diplomacy.
Okay. In the meantime, former Cuban President Raul Castro, he's involved in the talks between the island and the United States.
Okay.
And he's dealing with their current president, Diaz Canel. And apparently, he is saying, okay, let's talk. And the president's pretty excited about honoring, and he's actually honored to talk to Cuba soon. What are Cuba's alternative? Do they reach out to a communist country? Or do they go ahead and acquiesce to the United States and maybe get territorial status?
Yeah, who else? I mean, we know that they relied on Russian support or Soviet support for years and years and years. And you mentioned, who do they reach out to? Another communist regime? And who is there to reach out to? China?
Well, listen, the Monroe Doctrine's not going to allow us to let any other, communist group in there.
Absolutely.
It's not going to happen.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Right.
They started their downhill slide when the oil tanker from Venezuela stopped coming.
Mm-hmm.
They're dangerously on the brink of total economic disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cubans that have escaped there or in Florida, they all want Cuba to come to the United States. So some form, this is the opportunity that we have seen in 40-something years to get this island back.
Absolutely.
In some form.
Yeah.
And this one, to me, is a absolute no-brainer before Venezuela, Greenland, get Cuba. Okay? The destination and the recreation and travel business will just skyrocket.
Yeah.
Because now you can go to Cuba plus all the other islands down there.
Oh, my God. Yeah, go down.
And you can ride in an official 57 Chevy from the airport to your hotel.
You bring up the old cars in Cuba. You did that the other morning, too, and I started thinking about it. What a little backyard industry for some folks who still have those things, because we know that what happened was that after the United States pulled out and Cuba became communist, they had all these old cars. You know, they were current at the time, but then they got embargoed, and they didn't want any Russian cars, so they had these old American cars, and they have kept them running.
They've kept them going.
Yes.
They've replaced some engines here and there, but for the more you
baling wire and
anything in the 50s, you'll see it down there, from Chevys to Fords, to Dodges. All these 50 cars are still running down there. And you got to remember, in the 50s, American celebrities were going down there and having their gambling parties and their cigar parties and their big beach parties.
It was like the Las Vegas.
It was the Las
Caribbean.
Vegas of the day.
Yeah, yeah.
And then communism came in and took it over. So anyway, I think, look, we got a lot going on, but Cuba ought to be just like...
You know who's probably hoping that Cuba comes into the fold is Barrett Jackson.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, the only thing I can say is that, you know, in sales we call low-hanging fruit.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what Cuba is.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so much for all of that. We pretty much destroyed everything. What's the candy thing we're on?
Nougat.
Nougat?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a nougat break.
Okay.
So amazing, boundless and free, grace for the broken and sinner like me, grace that can pardon and cleanse me within, grace that is greater than all my sin, yeah, grace that is greater than all.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Over time, every wall tells a story, but sometimes those stories need a fresh start. At Chris Silva Painting, we specialize in transforming indoor spaces, whether it's your family home or your business workspace. With premium paints, flexible scheduling, and expert attention to detail, we make the process simple and stress-free so you can focus on what matters most, living and working in a space you love. From bold new colors to subtle tones of sophistication, let Chris Silva Painting bring your vision to life, one wall at a time. Chris and his crew are courteous, they're efficient, organized, timely, and clean. Chris Silva Painting also offers military discounts. At Chris Silva Painting, our mission statement is to bring Christ's heart and principles to our customers and our job sites. We do that with honesty, integrity, and hard work. We don't cut corners, we paint them. CCB number 176097. Chris Silva Painting, 541-890-3960. 541-890-3960.
22 minutes past the hour. Welcome back. Happy Thursday to you. Spring vacation, at least throughout most of the country. I notice, the spring break activity in Florida this year, the cops are watching that a little tighter than they have in the past.
Yeah.
They've had some incidences, but not like they've had.
Yeah, they're kind of changing their attitude on policing spring breakers now. And I think that's long overdue.
Long overdue. Yeah. They're walking the beaches, and you just look bad, and they're taking you out.
Okay.
They either throw you in the ocean or take you to jail, one or the other.
Well, I think we've all seen the YouTube videos of spring break activities. I think some of us are stunned. We never did that during spring break.
Gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
And where do they get the money to do it?
Yeah.
Is mom and dad paying for all that?
Right. Yeah.
Gosh,
that's a great question.
Hardy for a week.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, some backyard news, and I mean backyard news. Ashland, yesterday, a car bomb went off in Ashland at 4:43 in the morning after reports of a loud explosion. The officers go to the 300 block of Morton Street there in Ashland. I know that very well. And spotted what looked like another explosive in the car. And so they track it all down and they arrest the guy. And he's 32 years old, and apparently he's been charged with arson, unlawful possession of destructive devices, unlawful manufacture of destructive devices, criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, and reckless burning. So he's booked in the Jackson County Jail, and we have no idea what the motive is yet. What's going on? But a car bomb goes off at 4:30 in the morning.
That'll ruin your sleep.
In Ashland.
Yeah.
I wonder if he got his neighborhoods mixed up. I don't know.
Maybe. Oh, yeah.
So much for that. Right, let's take a look at the satellite image.
Okay. What do you got?
Explain that, Mr. Redwagon.
I see a whole bunch of nothing out there, at least until Monday. We're going to actually see some clearing skies as we move towards the weekend and warming temperatures. Mid-70s tomorrow after mid-60s today. Low to mid-70s Saturday and Sunday. And then showers move back in, and we're going to see temperatures dip back down into the low 60s and upper 50s as our daytime highs. So we're not done with this little springtime activity, as you have said, in Oregon. Just wait 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
You're going to get a change. Well, we are certainly keeping an eye on gas prices.
Yep.
The Strait of Hormuz is in the news constantly. It's like every time you hear the news come on, they're talking a little bit about what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz, because it is directly affecting what we pay at the pump. And we know that being on the West Coast, on the left coast, we pay more than everybody else. Oregon, Washington, and then, of course, the prize on high prices is California.
Oh, boy.
With that in mind, Liz Peek joined Fox Business Bottom Line and discussed gas prices in California and the situation in the Strait of Hormuz.
I think it's a very good move for two reasons. One is, can you imagine the fury that would greet a Delta official or anybody whisking a representative, a congressperson through the line right now when people are having to wait? And what are these people thinking? Can you imagine being in line for 4 hours with a little kid, almost missing your plane? I think it's just it's an atrocity. Frankly, I blame both Republicans and Democrats. They should have fixed this before now. But the other thing that no one's talking about, Brian, I was talking to someone whose kid had just barely made a plane, and the plane was 2/3 empty. Guess what? You keep hearing about everybody missing their planes. A lot of those planes are not getting the load factors that they expected. I would assume the airlines, between higher fuel prices and a lot of empty seats, they must be going crazy right now. So if this is their way of sort of punishing Congress for bad behavior, I say go for it. I think it's absolutely worthwhile. There's been some fake videos, of Congress people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz whisking through, being guided through security lines. But some of those are old. But the answer is they do this, and it is a courtesy. And I think it's time to maybe let that one go.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, that wasn't the clip we set up. What they're talking about there is the TSA lines and the fact that Congress gets special treatment, and Delta has now rescinded that special treatment. They have to get in line like everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that is, these perks have got to go.
Absolutely.
And especially if the government's shut down, you shouldn't get a check either.
Exactly, yes. But they get their money and they get to jump the lines. How about that?
No. No. The answer is no. I don't care who you are.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Even if you have to come to the airport with security dogs, go through everything.
Go through everything. When Chuck Schumer comes through, especially him, check him out.
Have him go through the luggage check-through area. Just wrap them up, put them on that thing that goes, that belt that goes through. They zap him, and they go through the thing. He comes out the other end. He's in a net, and they just put him in the luggage department down there. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Fish Lake Resort, where adventure is everywhere, and everyone is your friend. The fishing is great, and the food is tasty. The RV sites are full hookup, and the cabins are cozy. It's always a good time at Fish Lake Resort, and the best part is, you can come visit any day of the year because we are open all year, 7 days a week. Visit fishlakeresort.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV.
Okay, happy Thursday, and let's see here. A lot going on in the Middle East. It appears that the 48-hour ultimatum got put into a 5-day ultimatum, and now we're down to 2 days left. The leadership of Iran, whoever it is, and wherever they are, and wherever they are hiding, and whoever the president's talking to.
And that's the big point. How do you know who you should be talking to?
Well, listen to this. If the president is talking to somebody that supposedly is in charge, wouldn't we know where they are?
Yeah, that would give you some indication, wouldn't it?
Don't they have Find Your Phone?
That makes a lot of sense.
Don't they have Find Your Phone?
You would think so.
While I'm here? I don't know. Let's check in with CBN News and get the latest.
President Trump believes a deal to end the war is within reach, saying that Iran has delivered a very big present. Top U.S. officials are pressing for a peace summit in Pakistan.
Meanwhile, thousands more U.S. troops are on their way to the region as the war continues to rage on. CBN Middle East correspondent Paul Petit has the latest from Jerusalem.
Israel continues striking inside Iran, while Iran and Hezbollah fire back. One woman died Tuesday night in the Galilee region, killed in a Hezbollah rocket attack. The Israeli defense minister now says troops will maintain a security zone in southern Lebanon until Hezbollah's threat is removed. But as the war rages on, President Trump says peace talks with Iran are underway.
They'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there?
Trump says a team of top officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance, are leading the effort and pushing for a peace summit in Pakistan, according to the Times of Israel. Reports say the U.S. has delivered a 15-point proposal targeting Iran's nuclear program, ballistic missiles, and control of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump told reporters that Iran has offered what he calls a present, but gave no details.
And the present arrived today. It was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money.
Was it related to the Strait of Hormuz and the flow?
Yeah, it was related to the flow and to the strait, yeah.
An Iranian military spokesman rejected reports of negotiations, calling it a U.S. ploy to get out of a strategic defeat. In the past, Iran has demanded the immediate closure of all American bases in the Persian Gulf, an end of Israeli attacks, removal of all sanctions, and compensation for war damages. A U.S. official calling those demands ridiculous.
We negotiate with bombs. We're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield.
The Pentagon is now moving as many as 3,000 additional troops into the region as the war spreads to northern Iraq. CBN's senior international correspondent reports from Iraq's Kurdistan region, the scene of another Iranian attack.
This is George Thomas in Erbil, in Iraq's northern Kurdistan region. On Tuesday morning, 6 Iranian ballistic missiles hit 2 Peshmerga positions about an hour and a half north of here. 6 Kurdish fighters were killed and more than 30 others were wounded. The United States accusing Iran and their militia proxies here in Iraq of wreaking havoc across the country.
From the battlefield to the back channels, many have argued long-term peace with Iran can't take place without regime change. Trump says it's happening.
We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems.
While Israeli officials are doubtful that peace efforts will bear fruit, Gulf states are said to be alarmed at the prospects of a deal. The leaders of Saudi Arabia and the UAE reportedly are privately urging President Trump to continue the war until Iran is no longer a threat to the region. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, the threat is that regime. If you want to claim victory, I'm sorry, it's just not there. As long as the Republican Guard is in charge, as long as this, council of experts and the clerics are in charge, they're just replacing hardliners with new hardliners that are bent on destruction. They feel, and not feel, but they absolutely believe to their core that Israel is the little Satan and the United States is the great Satan, and they want to spread Islamic theology throughout the world. And if they can remove Israel and remove the United States, they will be successful in that. They don't really respect Iran as a nation. They are trying to impose Sharia law, not just in Iran, but their version of it throughout the Middle East, throughout Europe, in North America, in South America. Their goal is the whole world. So until there is regime change, that's the key. Can the people of Iran have a voice in their own government and say, we don't want these clerics? The population has turned against Islam because of what this regime has done to them. They're now majority agnostic. Well, why not give them the ability to elect their own government, have that be part of the goals? That's a long-term goal. That's going to be very difficult to achieve. But if we're able to do it, well, then the terrorism goes away. They are the chief sponsor of terrorism in the region. They fund it, they supply it, they build for it. All you have to do is look at all of the improvised devices that weren't improvised at all. They were manufactured in Iran, and they went after our troops in Iraq and Syria. They went after Israel from southern Lebanon and from Gaza. This has been an ongoing 47-year war with this regime. It's time for them to change.
Well, I'll leave it to Gordon. Thank you, Gordon.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the truth. So anyway, we're still trying to figure out what the big prize is.
We have big discussions about what it might be. We have no clue.
Well, the president said that during this negotiation, something happened before yesterday that suggested that they were given this, the United States was given this big surprise. It has to do with oil and gas. Well, we don't know what it is. He wouldn't tell us what it is.
Exactly.
So now we're down to where whatever was on the table could be taken off because They didn't buy the 15-point plan.
No, no.
So I'm wondering if they're going to give President Trump a building permit on the end of that little peninsula there in the Straits. Maybe that's the prize, the building permit.
Oh, man.
To build a golden
Trump right there, so every oil tanker that goes through the Strait sees that T.
The big T.
Oh, that would be something.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But just
I
a
don't
little bit of tongue-in-cheek there.
Yeah,
All right, let's check out the weather with tongue-in-cheek right here.
Here's a look at our weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon and southern Washington, expect a cold start with frost in many spots, then sunny afternoon with daytime highs reaching the mid-50s from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Down the Willamette Valley, morning frost and pockets of fog give way to sunshine with highs in the mid-50s in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 57 in Eugene with lows in the low 30s. For Central Oregon, it'll be sunny but chilly. Highs top out in the low to mid-50s, including 54 in Prineville and around 51 in Bend and Sun River. Boise stays sunny as well, but cooler than recent days with a high near 54. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay warms to around 58 after a frosty start, while Port Orford and Brookings reach the upper 50s under sunshine. Crescent City also stays sunny but breezy at times with highs near 62. In southern Oregon, widespread frost gives way to a nice sunny afternoon. Highs reach the low to mid-60s in Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland, while Klamath Falls will be in the upper 50s. For Northern California, sunshine dominates with a mild spring day. Wairika reaches the mid-60s, while Redding and Sacramento will be near 79 and near 80 in Chico. In the Bay Area, another dry day with mostly sunny skies. Highs will range from near 80 in Santa Rosa and 79 in Napa. San Francisco's high will be in the low 70s and upper 70s in San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot of our valley this morning, and a little still high clouds left over. Some blue sky around the edges. We'll see how the day goes. Looking good.
Well, it was on this day in 2012. Filmmaker James Cameron went where almost no human had ever gone before, to the deepest point on the planet Earth. Best known for directing the movie Titanic, Cameron piloted a one-man submersible called the Deep Sea Challenger nearly 7 miles down to Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench. The descent took almost 3 hours into total darkness and crushing pressure more than 1,000 times what we feel at sea level. Once there, Cameron spent over 2.5 hours exploring, collecting samples, and capturing footage for science. He later described the environment as desolate and almost lunar. The dive marked the first solo journey to that depth and the first time any human had been there in more than 50 years. It wasn't just a Hollywood director chasing adventure. It was a mission to better understand one of the last unexplored places on Earth, from the big screen to the bottom of the ocean.
Whoa.
So, James Cameron, I'm looking. This guy got in that submersible all by himself. He's a Hollywood director. He got in the submersible by himself and piloted it down almost 7 miles to the deepest point on Earth. Now, I've been looking at what some of his other activities. We know that he dove on the Titanic. When you think about diving in a submersible to the Titanic, we can't help but think about the OceanGate Titan, which imploded on its last journey there with Stockton Rush, who built it.
That was a commercial run, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for tourists, basically. You know, rich tourists. So basically, it imploded.
Yeah.
So I'm reading about James Cameron. He dove on the Titanic 33 times. So he's been down there 33 times. And then I thought, well, did James Cameron ever climb into the OceanGate Titan, the one that imploded? And it tells me here that no, he never traveled in the OceanGate Titan submersible, although he was invited by Stockton Rush to come and ride down. And he said, no, the design is inherently flawed, and it is one day it is doomed. He called it.
It was a prophecy.
Oh, man.
Wow. Okay, so did he have the spirit of discernment?
Well, there he seemed to have it, didn't he?
Do you ever ask for greater discernment?
Absolutely.
Do you?
Yes.
Do you know the difference between a spirit of discernment and the word of knowledge, according to the Bible?
You know, that can sometimes be a tough thing, Ken.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I had Pastor John Veal on yesterday to talk about this. Now, this gets into interesting times. We had an interesting conversation.
All right.
And there's a reason for that. But anyway, here's his take on the difference of spiritual discernment versus word of knowledge.
Spiritual discernment, I think it's one of the most neglected gifts we have in the body. I believe, just like prayer, I say that's the most neglected weapon in the body. But I think many people need spiritual discernment to really know what's of God and what's not of God. I think it gets a lot of people in trouble, the lack thereof, because it's a gift. Gift by definition means something that's given away. So you can ask for spiritual discernment, and I believe God will give it to you. So it's very important, especially in these perilous times, to really know what God has his hand on and what he's taking his hand off. So it's very important in this day and age to have spiritual discernment, just to perceive. Word of knowledge tells you basically the past and the present. Discernment tells you exactly what's God, what's not God. I've been to places where I've discerned leaders, other people, not really being of God, but being from the enemy, so to speak. I can really say that because what I've seen, sometimes what you see spiritually, God will prove out naturally. So you'll see it first spiritually, and then naturally you start to see some things in the person, in the arena, in the church, wherever you are, that prove out what you already perceived. So it's very important to listen to that gift of discernment, and that will help to guide you in terms of being in the right place, in the place where God will want you to be. That's very important in this season because you don't want to be under a wolf. And we've seen so many wolves in sheep's clothing that have really done a job on the church, and the level of exposure at this time is very high. So we're seeing more and more leaders fall because of what's done in secret, and the discernment helps you to perceive that.
The reason I brought that up, and he and I had a good conversation. We've had a lot of notoriety people go down.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of, there's just been a lot of failures lately for various reasons in ministry.
Yeah.
Here's my question. How can somebody fall that's under the accountability of elders or a board? And if the elders and the board are not exercising their spiritual gift of discernment. So we have a tendency to think that the pastor is infallible.
Okay, yeah.
And that if he says goes, who are we to question him?
Okay.
Now, I'm not trying to sow seeds of discontent or bad here.
All right.
But have you ever walked into a room and it just doesn't smell right? It doesn't feel right?
Feel right, yeah.
And isn't that God telling you something?
I think so, yeah.
You know, and I've had some inclinations. It's taken me a long time to work through them. But at the end of the day, I found out that God was really trying to tell me something. And I don't mean this to be divisive. But the reason these people fall, because people that have the spiritual discernment are afraid to speak up.
Yeah, well, Yeah, well, we don't want to be, Chicken Little and cry the sky is falling.
Yeah.
And not have the facts. So you talked about discernment and then also having facts.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's difficult to deal with that feeling, that voice that's going on inside, but you don't have anything to base it on other than this feeling.
Well, you can go to God's Word, say, God, show me in your Word, and He'll show examples to you.
Okay.
And He'll walk you through that. You look for examples in the Word. You look for people saying things. You look for your own feelings. You ask God to verify what you're sensing, and that takes time and patience.
Okay.
You know, but there's this move in the country of what they call personal prophetic movement. People prophesying over people. Okay, look, does the Bible talk about that? Yes, very clearly. But here's the point. If you look at prophecies for the most part in the Old Testament, there were warnings. So today we've taken prophecy, and it's always about God's about to do something for you.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So that's why I asked the difference between word of knowledge and spiritual discernment. You know who has the best spiritual discernment on the face of the earth?
Who?
Moms.
Moms are really good. You're right. Yeah.
They have eyes all the way around their head.
They never sleep.
They never sleep. And they know, okay? It's an instinct put into them. But the point being is, we got to be careful here. We're messing with people's lives.
Yeah.
And if you feel something, say something. You know, but not out of ego. I think most prophecies today is that I'm a prophet and you're not.
Or malice, you know, because sometimes we may have something against somebody and we let that feeling creep into that thing that we might think is discernment. Be careful.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a deep subject. It's not easily handled. It's a tricky one because the Bible does talk about all of these things, but at the same time, we take things out of context and we turn them into our own. We turn them into something that empowers us. And at that point, you got to back away. Okay. Anyway, good. So much for that. Why did I go down that road?
I like it. No, that's good.
No, root canals are fun. I'm going to go have one. We'll be right back.
Up on the heights, you let me go, you make my heart to rise from the depths.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why at Kelly's, it's automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
The threat of wildfire poses a growing risk to Oregonians. You can prepare now by taking 3 important steps. Create a home inventory, make copies of important financial records, and contact your insurance company to make sure you have the right amounts and types of home insurance coverage. Be wildfire ready by being insurance ready. Visit dfr.oregon.gov/prepare now to learn how.
Happy Thursday. Welcome back. Beautiful spring day out there. This clip ought to put some things into perspective. Okay?
Okay.
There was a time where then Donald Trump would go to all the talk shows.
Yeah, right. And they welcomed him.
They loved him.
Yeah, they loved
Larry
him.
King,
Yes.
Phil Donahue,
Right.
Oprah Winfrey, all of these, and he'd make the rounds, okay? And anyway, but there was something in him back in 1988 about how the United States is being taken advantage of.
Right.
And Oprah asked him, he said, would you ever consider running for president, since you discussed America's being taken advantage of? So let's go back to 1988, Donald Trump with Oprah Winfrey.
Last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not. But I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of the incumbency, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Jesse Jackson's done himself very proud. I think Michael Dukakis has done one hell of a job. And George Bush has done a hell of a job. You know, they all went in there sort of as semi-underdogs, including George Bush, and they've all come out. I think people that are around all three of those candidates can be very proud of the jobs they've done.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined, I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing, this country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
Whoa, a little bit of prophecy, huh?
Well, it gives you a little bit of an insight.
Yeah, it does.
That here he is, a young man, seeing all of this, and today he's an older guy doing it.
Doing it, right.
And you know, there was no syndrome in that audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And it was interesting too when he was asked about the current candidates of the day. First one on the Democrat side that popped up was Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
And
he gave him money.
I know. He and Jesse Jackson were friends.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting. After the Jesse Jackson funeral, Jesse Jackson's son came out. Ooh. You know, really bemoaning what the ex-presidents had talked about, both Biden and Obama, and he was very unhappy.
Yeah, Biden, Obama, and Clinton, all three of them were sitting there,
right.
And he lambasted them all. He said, "You guys didn't know him.
Yeah.
You took advantage of him."
Yeah, exactly. Very, very interesting how it plays out.
Don't bring your politics to my dad's funeral.
Right. Yeah, but we suffer Trump derangement syndrome.
Oh, boy.
Boy. Anyway.
All right, Drew Allen will be with me. Look forward to having him. He's always good to have around. And coming up a little bit later, I'm going to play my full interview that I had with Christine Drazen the other day, who's a candidate for governor.
Well, here's a good one. In the foster care system, one of the hardest realities is that siblings are often separated, but for one woman in Florida, that wasn't an option. Ashley Anderson, a clinical social worker, had seen firsthand how the system works, and she knew she wanted to make a difference. So she became a foster parent. It all started with one call asking if she could take in a young girl named Anastasia. Ashley said yes. Then came another call for her sister, Aaliyah. Again, Ashley said yes. And then a third call about their baby sister, Antoinique. In just a few months, Ashley went from 0 kids to 3 sisters, all under one roof. When reunification with their biological family wasn't possible, Ashley was asked one final question: would she adopt them? Once again, she said yes. Today, they call themselves the A-Team. And thanks to one woman's unwavering love, 3 sisters didn't just find a home, they stayed together.
They're beautiful.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's absolutely terrific. Well, anyway, a lot to say about the foster care system.
Yeah, especially in Oregon. I mean, we have problems here.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
You're a person of family of faith?
Yeah. In fact, I know a family of faith that just moved to Florida because they couldn't adopt here because of their faith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
I take with you Psalm 133, verse 1. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. Yes. Can you get along with somebody in the church you don't like? You may want to start there.
Amen.
We'll be right back.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Burgers, salads, sandwiches, barbecue platters, sides, and more. Smoked, grilled, and served to perfection. Sweet Tea Express. Breakfast, burgers, and barbecue.
Hi, I'm the SOS Alarm guy, here to tell you about a great deal. SOS Alarm will not only beat any internet deal, but will install the system too. So burglars, beware. SOS Alarm for security and beyond.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon. Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is theDove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting theDove TV. Relive treasured and classic Billy Graham moments of the past, Fridays and Saturdays on theDove TV, encouraging and informative. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Hi, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. This is where Jerry gets his kick.
Yeah, it used to be kicks, right?
A kick.
Yeah, only a kick for about a year now.
Oh, a kick for about a year now.
That's it.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Thursday. Beautiful spring day out there. Coming off of a, let's see, it was a wet Tuesday into a kind of an interesting day Wednesday, a cold night.
It was very cold last night.
Chilly night.
Yeah.
Into a day where we still have some clouds out there, but expected to be sunny by this afternoon.
Yep.
A lot going on in the weather department. Very nice through this Palm Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Then next week is Easter week, which could be a little wet, at least in our backyard.
It might be, yeah.
All right, lots to talk about, a lot of the news. What do you got?
I have, first of all, National Equal Pay Day, and it's talking about equal pay for men and women. And you know what it really boils down to is merit. You know, we like meritocracy. You know, you get paid what you're worth by the quality of the job that you do and the type of job that you're doing. It's based on merit. It's not based on anything else, period. We have a lot of trouble with that in our country these days. But anyway, also it is Epilepsy Awareness Day, or Purple Day, aiming to increase the public's knowledge of a neurological affliction affecting nearly 50 million people worldwide, and again, also known as Purple Day. And I'm surrounded by these beautiful purple blossoms, and so if you see somebody wearing purple today, it's for that reason. And now I digress. When we lived in New York, there was a guy in Central Park. We called him Mr. Purple. He wore purple tie-dye, and he had a bike, And on his bike, behind his bike, he fashioned a little trailer.
Oh.
And he had a little trailer, and he would ride through Central Park. And you know the handsome cabs, you know the horse carriages that go through? He would shovel up all their droppings.
Ah.
And he used it in their gardens down. He was Mr. Purple.
Nothing tastes better than a carrot that comes out of horse droppings.
I don't know why I did that, but here we go. Let's move on. Golly. It's also National Nougat Day, celebrating a soft and chewy, or sometimes even a hard and crunchy candy often found at the center of a candy bar. It's made by whipping egg whites together, adding honey and sugar, roasted nuts, and sometimes candied fruit. And some say that nougat has been a sweet treat since ancient Rome, and it's been enjoyed as a candy all on its own or paired with chocolate or other flavorings, and we're looking at some of that right now. Some of the varieties of nougat in candy bars are Three Musketeers, Mars, Snickers, Milky Way, Zero, Salted Nut Rolls, Reese's Fast Break, Reese's Whips, Baby Ruth, as well as others. So however you like your nougat, enjoy it, because today is National Nougat Day.
All right.
And one last thing, it's National Spinach Day. Spinach, a leafy green vegetable native to ancient Persia and has been cultivated for over 2,000 years. Its fame skyrocketed in the 1930s thanks to Popeye the Sailor Man, whose love for spinach reportedly boosted U.S. spinach consumption by 33% during the Great Depression. Interestingly, raw spinach is 91% water, making it almost as hydrating as cucumbers. And spinach has also been used in unusual ways. The medieval artists used it for pigment, for their ink and paint. It's packed with antioxidants and vitamins, and it's no wonder that Popeye said, "I'm strung to the finish 'cause I eat my spinach. I'm Popeye the Sailor Man." Boop, boop.
Okay, so there he is. Now, I just remembered something.
What?
He ate spinach and smoked a pipe.
Oh, they'd have to have warnings on his cartoons now.
Look at that.
Yeah, tobacco smoke. You're right. I never thought about it.
Yeah.
And he's got forearms like nobody's ever seen before.
Yeah. So he ate his spinach and smoked a pipe.
Isn't it weird how we remember those things? I'm strong to the finish because I ate my spinach. I probably haven't heard that since like 1961.
Yeah.
But I still remember it.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, speaking of nougat, there's one.
Here's a look at our weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon and southern Washington, expect a cold start with frost in many spots, then sunny afternoon with daytime highs reaching the mid-50s from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Down the Willamette Valley, morning frost and pockets of fog give way to sunshine with highs in the mid-50s in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 57 in Eugene with lows in the low 30s. For Central Oregon, it'll be sunny but chilly. Highs top out in the low to mid-50s, including 54 in Prineville and around 51 in Bend and Sun River. Boise stays sunny as well, but cooler than recent days with a high near 54. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay warms to around 58 after a frosty start, while Port Orford and Brookings reach the upper 50s under sunshine. Crescent City also stays sunny but breezy at times with highs near 62. In southern Oregon, widespread frost gives way to a nice sunny afternoon. Highs reach the low to mid-60s in Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland, while Klamath Falls will be in the upper 50s. For Northern California, sunshine dominates with a mild spring day. Wairika reaches the mid-60s, while Redding and Sacramento will be near 79 and near 80 in Chico. In the Bay Area, another dry day with mostly sunny skies. Highs will range from near 80 in Santa Rosa and 79 in Napa. San Francisco's high will be in the low 70s and upper 70s in San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a picture of our backyard this morning. Let's see here, some green because it's spring, and still some leftover clouds. So it should be nice towards the end of the day. There, a little chilly out there right now. Still a little cool.
Yeah, my snowflake went off on my dashboard on the way in this morning.
It's still 34 degrees out there.
Is it really? Yeah, that's why. I mean, it's chilly out there. Be careful. All right. Well, I think a lot of us in our walk with the Lord have prayed about being in God's will. Well, in that regard, here's some great encouragement with Dr. David Jeremiah.
Gloria Pitzer said, Procrastination is my sin. It brings me nothing but sorrow. I know I should stop it. In fact, I'm going to tomorrow. I don't know of another realm in which the excuse of I'll do it someday is heard more often than in the matter of financial stewardship. So many people reason, I know I need to do this, but Pastor, the timing's not right. I got a lot of bills I need to take care of. I'm going to get caught up with everything. And so often when the people say the timing isn't right, they never do find the right time. Let me tell you something I've learned as a follower of Christ for over 50 years. Whenever we hesitate to do the will of God and we allow time to go by between what he tells us to do and when we obey, we are asking for trouble. You see, God works on the basis of obedience. He blesses us on the basis of our complying with his will. Satan works on the basis of disobedience, and his goal is to keep the people of God procrastinating, hesitating, because he knows if he does that long enough, ultimately they will not do what God wants them to do.
What a thought.
Well, I have to say procrastination is, wow, we've all have done it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It feels better when you're ahead of something than when you're behind something.
True.
And if you can just process that in your mind, you're going to feel better by being out in front of it.
Yes.
Than you are trying to constantly clean up behind it.
Well, you know, that's true because we know that stress and anxiety are not healthy situations in our lives, and that's what we bring on ourselves when we procrastinate. He mentioned as he started there, somebody's saying that procrastination is my sin, and it went ding. Is procrastination sinful? You know, I mean, that's the first thing that popped into my mind because I think a lot of us have dealt with procrastination in our life and we want to address it. But as he said, we'll take care of that tomorrow.
Well, the procrastinator's logo or motto is, why do today what you can do tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's the procrastination motto.
Exactly.
Why do today what you can do tomorrow? But, you know, here's something.
What?
What if God tells you to do something today and you tell him, okay, tomorrow?
That's not following God's will.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can go off on that one for a while.
I bet.
Okay, 9 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at some of the top stories. Interesting verdict yesterday out of a Los Angeles jury that has found Mark Zuckerberg's Meta and Google's YouTube liable in a groundbreaking lawsuit concerning the harm to children and using their platforms, awarding a $3 million damage to a young woman who claims social media was an addiction during her childhood and worsened her mental health. And they were able to prove this. Now, this cracks the door. The only thing I can say is I don't know if members of Congress, with all of their perks, getting through TSA lines and everything else, if they would wake up to the fact that they have children and grandchildren that are being groomed and trolled constantly on these platforms, that they would have the fortitude to step up and take the immunity away from these companies.
Right.
And let them be sued.
Yeah.
This breaks open that door. It's a big case, and I think you're going to see a flood of lawsuits now, like crazy, going after these people. And the question is, do they go to court or do they do settlements like they did with, what was the other one they settled?
Oh, yeah, there was another one.
Yeah, anyway, they settled. Was it TikTok?
Yeah, with TikTok settled, and there was another platform that settled with them.
Yeah.
And I think you'll probably be seeing that as well. And I think also this should be an alarm, a warning to parents, too, because I think that one thing that you have to include in all of this is parental control. And parents, you got to be, you know, on your kids. You got to see what they're doing. You got to see how much social media time they're spending, screen time in general. For us, in the olden days, screen time was about how long did we sit in front of the tube. You know, that was it. But it's changed now because now they're interactive with this screen and you have this thing going on. And as Pam used to say when we had little kids, you know, sometimes you just got to sit on them.
Sit on
You got to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So parents, look, there's a lot of platforms out there. If you don't believe so, let me just go to the App Store.
Yeah.
And put in, say, just Facebook.
Okay.
And when it comes up in the App Store, you're going to see all of the other platforms.
Oh, yeah.
They show them all.
Okay.
And when you see that, look at the numbers of the subscribers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say is, parents, if you have an ounce of love for your child. That should pretty much take all of you in.
Yeah.
Get your kids off of TikTok. They're all bad, but that one's
the worst.
That one is so toxic.
It is. It's the worst.
So bad.
Yeah. And I think
get your kids off.
one of the things we're not talking about here, and that's the mental health issues with transgenderism, and that is running rampant on social media. It's one of the big problems there. So, so parents, you got to be involved.
All right, let's back over to the Middle East, the war in Iran. This is hard to believe, but 4.5, 5 weeks into this war, the U.S. military marked a major milestone yesterday afternoon for almost 4 weeks in Operation Epic Fury, recording its 10,000th strike on Iran's targets. Wow. And here is U.S. Navy Admiral Brad Cooper, who talked about those strikes.
We're in the 4th week of the campaign and remain on plan or ahead of plan in achieving very clear military objectives for eliminating Iran's ability to project power in meaningful ways outside its borders. U.S. forces have struck more than 10,000 military targets. In fact, we hit the 10,000th Iranian target just hours ago. And if you combine what we've accomplished with the success of our Israeli ally, together we have struck thousands more, clearly demonstrating that we're stronger together. Our precision strikes have overwhelmed Iranian air defenses, and our combat flights over Iran are having tangible effects. Here are a few examples. For decades, Iranian warships have roamed regional waters, threatening and harassing global shipping. But those days are over because we've now destroyed 92% of the Iranian Navy's largest vessels. They are not sailing, and my operational assessment is that they've now lost the ability to meaningfully project naval power and influence around the region and around the world. As we've highlighted previously, Iran's drone and missile launch rates are down by more than 90%, meaning their ability to attack American forces and regional neighbors is drastically reduced. And not only have we significantly degraded Iran's naval, drone, and missile capabilities, we've also removed the regime's ability to rebuild them.
Oh, man. Sounds very decisive.
Well, it is, and that's just the United States. So we don't know the raw numbers coming out of Israel.
Yeah.
So combined, there's thousands more. Yesterday, one of the military headquarters was taken out, and this is supposedly where who's ever running the country would be meeting.
Okay.
But that was taken out. So here's a question that I have with all of this. Where are the citizens these days? You don't see them anywhere.
Well, that's a great question, too, because we also know that the president told him to hunker down at the start of this operation, that he would let them know when to come on out. And that's a great question. Where are they? What's going on with them?
So how close are we from 100%? So if there's 10, 15% left, what is the 10 or 15%? The president is talking to somebody that supposedly gave him a big present.
Apparently, that we don't know yet.
We don't even know if this person's legitimate.
Well, that's the huge question. How do you know who to talk to, and how do you know when you're talking to somebody that is the right person?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that'd be like me calling you up and giving me instructions on how to ski in the fog.
Use spiritual discernment when it comes to that. Come on, man.
Okay, so much for that. In the meantime, Cuba is about ready to fall. And the question, where does it fall? Former Cuban President Raul Castro is involved with the talks between the island and the United States. And the current president, Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel, says, well, we're talking, but we don't know what's left. The economy's in shambles. Cubans inside the United States want the United States to take over. Cuba is sitting there about ready to just totally collapse. The question is, do we go in? And if so, do we do a Venezuela move where we take over and have the citizens take over their country?
Yeah.
How do you know if there's any communist regime left in there? Do you get them out?
Right.
Or do you just flat go in, and help the country get back on its feet, open all this back up again, and help them create their own election. What do you do with this?
Right, and you know, another question comes in. You asked it about the Iranian people. How about the Cuban people? What's going on with them? How do they feel about this? Are they going to go out in the streets, or are they going to rise up? Do they want, yeah.
They've actually went into the Cuban headquarters and vandalized the place. They tried to burn it down.
Whoa.
So the citizens are at the end.
Okay.
They've got to get something going here because, I mean, food is scarce.
Yeah, and you know what? You got to look at the history of Cuba and what they were before and what they could be again. Oh, my goodness, it would be a crown jewel down there.
All you have to do is let the internet in there and eBay.
And eBay.
They'd start selling those 57 Chevys like crazy.
Barrett Jackson, look out. They got a whole bunch of inventory coming your way. That's awesome.
These 57 Fords and Chevys and all that stuff would be just, you know.
And a lot of them, they're all still running down there, baling wire and duct tape.
Yeah.
But they're going.
Yeah, they got 14-inch rims in the front and 16-inch rims in the back.
I want one. All right.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
No. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
No.
I'm getting wrapped up. Thanks.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Tackling the tough issues facing America and our nation's freedom. That's Sekalo on the Dove TV.
DAs around the country finding who they want to prosecute and then determining what crime they could charge them with.
You can't believe this is the country we're living in, that this is happening.
A bold half hour hosted by ACLJ's Jordan and Logan Sekalo, taking you inside the battle of constitutional and political freedom, discussing issues that matter to you and your family.
This is just not the right precedent we want to be setting, even if we don't like Donald Trump.
This is just all-out chaos, and that's what could happen very soon.
Watch Sekalo for issues that matter to you, addressing the problems of Christian rights in the workplace, school, the marketplace, and protecting human life.
I hope this doesn't have to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Be in the know with Sekalo. Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday only on the Dove TV.
Okay, happy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, here we are. Happy Thursday with you. You know, if you ever come in here and watch the show live, you'll know why.
Yeah?
Yeah, you'll know why.
Why what?
Well, why? This is why things happen the way they do around here.
Yeah, you're right. You have to witness it to believe it.
Okay, I think, do you guys have the video, Scott, of the thing coming out? Did you get it?
Oh, did you? Oh.
Did you get it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have it?
The old, yeah, we had a little incident in the last hour. We didn't realize.
Jerry had a visitor.
Yeah, did you guys have that?
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay, all right.
We'll come back to it.
All right.
Something happened in the last hour. We're kind of going, only in this place would that happen.
Yeah,
okay.
and it proves that ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
Yes.
It also proves that anything can happen here.
It's true.
Okay. Well, here's this interesting story. The other day, yesterday morning. Okay,
yeah.
that makes sense. There was a car bomb went off in Ashland, right down the road here from us. Man. At 4:43 in the morning, people started to report a loud explosion. And come to find out, the officers respond to the 300 block of Morton Street, which I certainly know where that is. And a guy had bomb in his car, and it went off, and they went over and investigated, and there was another explosive device in there. Didn't take long. They tracked him down, and they arrested him. He's the 32-year-old. And he's lodged in the Jackson County Jail for unlawful possession of destructive device, unlawful manufacturing of a destructive device, criminal mischief, reckless endangerment, reckless burning.
Whoa. Whoa.
So he's got all 5 of those books thrown at him. We don't know what the motive is.
What does he have a bomb for? What are his affiliations? Who does?
Well, that's kind of what I'm wondering. What's his affiliation? Why would he bomb Ashland?
And was that an intention? Did the bomb go off?
Well,
it was just sitting there. Maybe he was going to use it someplace else.
That could be.
Yeah.
You know,
man.
Poor manufacturing.
And storage.
Yes. Maybe he made a mistake. He pulled the pin on the wrong one. You know?
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway,
I don't know.
Gosh, that's pretty bad. All right, let's take a look at Wall Street for this Thursday morning. Thank you, Preston. It's Smart Lawn. If you're smart, you'll call them, and you won't mow your lawn anymore. You'll just look at it.
Yeah.
The Dow's up 36. The Nas is down 122, almost 123. Excuse me. And the S&P's off 22 1/3. So. Anyway, 1 foot on the gas, 2 feet on the brakes this morning. Let's see here. Gold's down to 44.47. Silver is hanging in there at $69, and crude oil went back up to $100.89 a barrel.
Okay. That's tough.
Donald, get this war over.
Hey, remember the government tried to help us with fuel issues a long time ago, and they put a 55-mile-an-hour speed limit on us?
Everything, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We think we'll ever see anything like that again? I hope not.
I do, too. I really hope that they get this. They got to figure out the straight issue.
Okay.
Yeah, once the oil starts to flow, it'll flow fast.
Okay, we got 2 things. You want to do the... We got the video.
Oh, do we have it?
Yeah, we got it.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
All right, here's what happened.
Oh, there it is. I see it. I didn't even see it. See that thing coming by my head?
See that?
That's a spider.
That was a little while ago.
Yeah. Look at it. It's coming down. Look at it. I don't even know. My life's in danger.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We're talking.
Look at that. I'm looking at it.
And it's right in front of you.
It's right in front. I didn't even see it.
Well, see it there?
Oh my goodness! Look at that's a big spider.
It was a big spider, and you know what's interesting?
What?
It was out there.
I know it was actually halfway between us and the camera. That's why we didn't see it.
Yeah.
Because it was in front of us, but.
It was a huge spider coming down.
Along came a spider and sat down.
So all these guys in the control room are laughing. And
I know.
We're in immediate danger.
I know, and we have no clue.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What?
I got that spider.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Well, anyway, he's part of the floor polish right now. Okay.
Got rid of him. Okay, now this is interesting. Okay. We look at Congress and, how they regulate our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's a huge problem with Social Security coming up. It's going to be insolvent by 2034. We want Congress to fix it, right? Well, they don't have any interest in fix it because they're on a different retirement plan. They don't even have to deal with Social Security. So we look at our health care system and we think, we got major problems with our health care system. We need Congress to fix it. Oh, wait a minute. They're on a different plan. They don't have to deal with our healthcare system. Okay, so now the government's in partial shutdown, and we got hours-long lines for TSA trying to get on flights. We need Congress to fix it. Oh, no, they create it, and they don't care to fix it because they don't have to stand in those lines. They get exemptions. They get to go around. So with that in mind, as I calm down, Fox Business's bottom line spoke to...
Bring the spider back. Bring the spider back.
All right. Yeah. And here they spoke with Liz Peek about this. Let's listen in.
I think it's a very good move for 2 reasons. One is, can you imagine the fury that would greet a Delta official or anybody whisking a representative, a congressperson through the line right now when people are having to wait? And what are these people thinking? Can you imagine being in line for 4 hours with a little kid, almost missing your plane? I think it's just it's an atrocity. Frankly, I blame both Republicans and Democrats. They should have fixed this before now. But the other thing that no one's talking about, Brian, I was talking to someone whose kid had just barely made a plane, and the plane was 2/3 empty. Guess what? You keep hearing about everybody missing their planes. A lot of those planes are not getting the load factors that they expected. I would assume the airlines, between higher fuel prices and a lot of empty seats, they must be going crazy right now. So if this is their way of sort of punishing Congress for bad behavior, I say go for it. I think it's absolutely worthwhile. There's been some fake videos, of Congress people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz whisking through, being guided through security lines. But some of those are old. But the answer is they do this, and it is a courtesy. And I think it's time to maybe let that one go.
Well, obviously, Delta has stopped allowing them to cut the lines. I'm just wondering why every other major carrier hasn't done the same.
Well, let's see. Lobbyists.
We hear that all the time. You're right.
So, but, if let's say Southwest did it.
Okay.
I mean, that would just be unbelievable. You got Southwest, you got United, you got Delta, you got American. I don't know who all the big ones are out of D.C.
Yeah.
But you ought to just say, no, stand in line, have a nice day.
Like everybody else.
Like everybody else.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, you make a good point. That was a good lead up with all the other perks that they have.
I got myself so worked up. I'm sure I got my blood pressure.
Was it that or the spider?
Yeah, it may have been both.
Okay.
Yeah. Could be.
All right, we're going to take a nougat break. We'll be right back.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
The 71.5 Golf Challenge arrives Saturday, May 16th with a 4-person scramble, morning and afternoon shotguns, and a 6:30 award social. Register your team by April 1st for an early bird special. Score the team player pack for just $20 instead of $100 with the code EARLYBIRDIE. Become a sponsor and help kids across Southern Oregon. Visit 715.org or call 541-779-3275. At the 71.5 Golf Challenge, your drive saves lives.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV. The Dove is shining with a brand new show, Season to Shine.
I'm Melinda Robertson, host of Season to Shine, a new heartfelt, inspiring program for women designed to bring encouragement, wisdom, and hope into your everyday life. We'll help you discover God's purpose in every season, empowering you to shine with confidence, faith, and joy. It's your season to shine. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 4 p.m. on the Dove TV. More at thedove.us.
All right, welcome back. Halfway past the hour on this Thursday. It is spring break.
Yeah.
A whole lot going on out there, but drive carefully.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to warm up as we head towards the weekend. Well, the Middle East has really got a lot going on these days, and so we're so happy to be a partner with CBN News, and let's check in with them and see what they got for us today.
President Trump believes a deal to end the war is within reach, saying that Iran has delivered a very big present. Top U.S. officials are pressing for a peace summit in Pakistan.
Meanwhile, thousands more U.S. troops are on their way to the region as the war continues to rage on. CBN Middle East correspondent Paul Petit has the latest from Jerusalem.
Israel continues striking inside Iran, while Iran and Hezbollah fire back.
One woman died Tuesday night in the Galilee region, killed in a Hezbollah rocket attack. The Israeli defense minister now says troops will maintain a security zone in southern Lebanon until Hezbollah's threat is removed. But as the war rages on, President Trump says peace talks with Iran are underway.
They'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there?
Trump says a team of top officials, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Vice President J.D. Vance, are leading the effort and pushing for a peace summit in Pakistan, according to the Times of Israel. Reports say the U.S. has delivered a 15-point proposal targeting Iran's nuclear program, ballistic missiles, and control of the Strait of Hormuz. Trump told reporters that Iran has offered what he calls a present, but gave no details.
And the president arrived today. And it was a very big present worth a tremendous amount of money.
Was it related to the Strait of Hormuz and the flow of...
Yeah, it was related to the flow and to the strait, yeah.
An Iranian military spokesman rejected reports of negotiations, calling it a U.S. ploy to get out of a strategic defeat. In the past, Iran has demanded the immediate closure of all American bases in the Persian Gulf, an end of Israeli attacks, removal of all sanctions, and compensation for war damages. A U.S. official calling those demands ridiculous.
We negotiate with bombs. We're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield.
The Pentagon is now moving as many as 3,000 additional troops into the region as the war spreads to northern Iraq. CBN's senior international correspondent reports from Iraq's Kurdistan region, the scene of another Iranian attack.
This is George Thomas in Erbil, in Iraq's northern Kurdistan region. On Tuesday morning, 6 Iranian ballistic missiles hit 2 Peshmerga positions about an hour and a half north of here. 6 Kurdish fighters were killed and more than 30 others were wounded. The United States accusing Iran and their militia proxies here in Iraq of wreaking havoc across the country.
From the battlefield to the back channels, many have argued long-term peace with Iran can't take place without regime change. Trump says it's happening.
We have really regime change. You know, this is a change in the regime because the leaders are all very different than the ones that we started off with that created all those problems.
While Israeli officials are doubtful that peace efforts will bear fruit, Gulf states are said to be alarmed at the prospects of a deal. The leaders of Saudi Arabia and the UAE reportedly are privately urging President Trump to continue the war until Iran is no longer a threat to the region. Paul Petit, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Well, the threat is that regime. If you want to claim victory, I'm sorry, it's just not there. As long as the Republican Guard is in charge, as long as this, council of experts and the clerics are in charge, they're just replacing hardliners with new hardliners that are bent on destruction. They feel, and not feel, but they absolutely believe to their core that Israel is the little Satan and the United States is the great Satan, and they want to spread Islamic theology throughout the world. And if they can remove Israel and remove the United States, they will be successful in that. They don't really respect Iran as a nation. They are trying to impose Sharia law, not just in Iran, but their version of it throughout the Middle East, throughout Europe, in North America, in South America. Their goal is the whole world. So until there is regime change, that's the key. Can the people of Iran have a voice in their own government and say, we don't want these clerics? The population has turned against Islam because of what this regime has done to them. They're now majority agnostic. Well, why not give them the ability to elect their own government, have that be part of the goals? That's a long-term goal. That's going to be very difficult to achieve. But if we're able to do it, well, then the terrorism goes away. They are the chief sponsor of terrorism in the region. They fund it, they supply it, they build for it. All you have to do is look at all of the improvised devices that weren't improvised at all. They were manufactured in Iran, and they went after our troops in Iraq and Syria. They went after Israel from southern Lebanon and from Gaza. This has been an ongoing 47-year war with this regime. It's time for them to change.
Absolutely true.
Well, I don't know if change is possible. I think our good friend Kenneth Abomberwich says it best. When you hear what I'm about to say, you'll just pass it off.
Okay.
But if you study it, it's real. He uses the term death cult. And death cults are people that have an agenda that they're willing to die for. And they're a death cult.
Oh, man.
So that's what you're dealing with. And it's an evil one on top of it. Yeah. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But we're real close. We're real close.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's check out the weather with the guy that's been close on a lot of things, but never right on it.
Here's a look at our weather from Grange Co-op. In northern Oregon and southern Washington, expect a cold start with frost in many spots, then sunny afternoon with daytime highs reaching the mid-50s from Vancouver and Portland south through Wilsonville and McMinnville. Down the Willamette Valley, morning frost and pockets of fog give way to sunshine with highs in the mid-50s in Salem, Albany, and Corvallis, and near 57 in Eugene with lows in the low 30s. For Central Oregon, it'll be sunny but chilly. Highs top out in the low to mid-50s, including 54 in Prineville and around 51 in Bend and Sun River. Boise stays sunny as well, but cooler than recent days with a high near 54. Along the Oregon coast, Coos Bay warms to around 58 after a frosty start, while Port Orford and Brookings reach the upper 50s under sunshine. Crescent City also stays sunny but breezy at times with highs near 62. In southern Oregon, widespread frost gives way to a nice sunny afternoon. Highs reach the low to mid-60s in Grants Pass, Medford, and Ashland, while Klamath Falls will be in the upper 50s. For Northern California, sunshine dominates with a mild spring day. Wairika reaches the mid-60s, while Redding and Sacramento will be near 79 and near 80 in Chico. In the Bay Area, another dry day with mostly sunny skies. Highs will range from near 80 in Santa Rosa and 79 in Napa. San Francisco's high will be in the low 70s and upper 70s in San Jose with a light northwest wind. It's a look at your Thursday weather from Grange Co-op.
And there's a look of our valley. Beautiful blue skies on top, but still a little bit of a layer, a little bit lower down, but it's breaking up.
Is that Mount McLaughlin peak sneaking over the top to the left a little?
You know, I think it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
that's gorgeous.
Mount Pitt out there.
Yeah, Mount Pitt. You bet.
Anyway, nice stuff out there, and I can tell when I look. We have a window in our studio now that we can actually see outside, see over there.
Yeah.
When you see sun on that building, you know it's turning up nice out there.
And it is turning out nice.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, on this day in 2012, filmmaker James Cameron went where almost no human has ever gone before, the deepest point on the planet Earth. Best known for directing the movie Titanic, Cameron piloted a one-man submersible called the Deep Sea Challenger nearly 7 miles down to Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench. The descent took almost 3 hours into total darkness and crushing pressure more than 1,000 times what we feel at sea level. Once there, Cameron spent over 2.5 hours exploring, collecting samples, and capturing footage for science. He later described the environment as desolate and almost lunar. The dive marked the first solo journey to that depth and the first time any human had been there in more than 50 years. It wasn't just a Hollywood director chasing adventure. It was a mission to better understand one of the last unexplored places on Earth, from the big screen to the bottom of the ocean.
I couldn't.
No way.
I just couldn't.
Okay, James Cameron. Now check this out. I thought this has got to be wrong. James Cameron, one of the biggest Hollywood directors there is, climbs into a submersible by himself. No. I thought, well, this got to be wrong. Somebody piloted him down, right? No, he piloted that thing down to the deepest point on Earth all by himself, and spends time down there, and then comes back up. Now I'm checking out a little bit, because when I think about diving and the submersibles and stuff, you think about the Titanic, because James Cameron, he made the film Titanic. He dove on the Titanic 33 times. And we know that the OceanGate Titan imploded on its last trip down to the Titanic, which was by then a kind of a tourist ride, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that was OceanGate Titan was a Stockton Rush project, and Stockton Rush put his effort, times, and money. And I found out that Stockton Rush actually invited James Cameron to ride on the OceanGate Titan, the one that imploded. And James Cameron said, no, it's unsafe. You cut corners, that thing is doomed.
Ooh.
He was very prophetic.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of prophetic versus discernment versus prophecy versus word of knowledge versus sensitivity.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, I had that conversation with Pastor John Veal. He pastors a church in Chicago, and we talked about it. So last hour we talked about the difference between discernment and word of knowledge. But I asked him as a pastor, have you ever walked into a situation where you just didn't feel right? Something is wrong here. And here's what he had to say.
Oh, absolutely. Multiple times. There was one gathering where the Lord told me what was going to happen before I went there. He said, the guest speaker was going to prophesy to you, but it's not going to be of me. So he's letting me know. And I shouldn't have gone, but, I went anyway, because sometimes, pray for me, because sometimes I test God by going to see if it's actually going to happen.
Oh,
and
you're human.
Right.
You're human.
Right. I went there. And so the guy gave my wife a really beautiful, authentic, prophetic word, really good, right? So he calls me up and he gives me this word, and he says, I see water. He had an accent, coming from the sky, and it's hitting a rock. He said it like that. And he said, well, that's not a good thing. He said, you're getting the results of an ant this season, and things are not going well and all this. And it was one of my most busiest times of ministry initially. I mean, I was traveling all over. I was doing all these things, so it really didn't register. And so I made the mistake of allowing this guy to lay hands on me. And so he laid hands on me and told me I was going to get $2 million, and I'm still waiting on the $2 million. And then when I got home, I felt like something was on me, something demonic. And I had to pray throughout the night to get it off me. That's why I always tell people, be careful of who you allow to speak into your lives, and also who you allow to lay hands on you, because they can carry spirits, and those spirits can transfer and get on you. And you're wondering what's going on. Why are you feeling this way? Why do you feel this presence on you? And that's exactly what I felt that night, and I had to pray it off of me.
Whoa, whoa.
I've had that happen to me twice.
Really?
I had it one time. If I mentioned the guy's name, everybody would know who he is.
Okay.
But he tried to hire me.
Oh, all right.
And I met him in a restaurant in Sacramento. And he brought another notable with him, and they're sitting there, and he says, I want you to come down and help me get on TV.
Oh, okay.
And long story short, I said no. And he got up from the table, turned around, and pronounced a curse on my life.
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
He said, you will amount to nothing. God will now lift his hand from you.
Oh, okay. He was speaking for God, huh?
Okay.
Oh, that's not good.
So those things can happen to you. You got to be spiritually discerning.
Let me ask you, how did you feel leaving that little meeting?
Well, it stunned me. I mean,
I bet it did.
Because I had regard for these two people.
Okay.
And again, if I mentioned their name, you would know them just like that. But I go, wow. And I was young and dumb, and I thought, well, maybe I did miss. I mean, you walk out of there kind of going, ooh.
Wow. Yeah.
Whoa. But anyway, I think you got to, in today's world, you got to really be careful.
Yeah.
And I had one other one. It happened at our old building, and when we were on the other side of town, an organization came in and demanded we put them on the air.
Okay.
And I said no.
Okay.
And they said, well, God is against you. There is now a curse on this ministry.
Wow.
Because we wouldn't put their program on the air. So if you don't believe in this stuff, I understand if you don't. I get it. I totally understand, because it gets into the world. But I have to tell you, boy, come to this place. You'll witness everything once. Maybe twice.
That is true.
All right, so much for all of that. Let's get out of here. We'll be right back.
When technology slows you down, your business and your life feels it. That's where Rogue Tech Pros comes in. We provide business technology services, managed IT services, and custom phone systems for businesses and homes. Our award-winning team takes time to understand your unique needs and builds a customized plan to keep your systems running smoothly so you can focus on growing your business while we handle the IT headaches. Find us at roguetechpros.com. roguetechpros.com. We keep IT simple. When plumbing emergencies hit, and they do, you want help from a plumber you can trust, and you need it now. Onnit Plumbing to the rescue. Onnit Plumbing gets the job done right with integrity and quality craftsmanship. Onnit Plumbing offers military discounts, senior discounts, and discounts for KDOV listeners too. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Onnit Plumbing, CCB 229436. No job too big or small. Onnit Plumbing does them all. See us at onnitplumbing.net. onnitplumbing.net.
From the heart of our nation's capital, here's Family Research Council President Tony Perkins.
The House committee uncovered through the whistleblower that the FBI abused its counterterrorism tools to target Catholic Americans. Do we need to reevaluate what tools they have legal access to?
Yes, absolutely we do.
Washington Watch, 6 o'clock weekdays on the Dove TV.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
That they found out that the Ayatollah and all of his leaders were in one building.
This is not a single overnight operation.
The president has the authority to wage war.
We see Iranian women in the street celebrating, and we see liberal women in the United States protesting. It's interesting. What a dichotomy.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
Sometimes you have to go back to go forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, even though the Bible says put your hand to the plow and don't look back. Now, that's a farmer's term.
Oh, yeah.
You know why?
Why?
Until we got GPSs, farmers would have to, when they're plowing the field, they have to look clear down at the other end. Keep their eye on that end, or if they look back, their lines went like that.
I got to tell you the truth. My dad was a farmer. He planted rows and rows and rows and rows of potatoes.
Yeah.
Okay? I remember going on vacation. They would plant, and then, they would let the crops grow. I remember going on vacation, and we're driving, and my dad would be looking at fields and say, he didn't keep his eye down there. He said, look at the crooked rows here. Look at he would tell us this all the time.
Now farmers are doing it with a GPS.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, at one time, I was a flagman for a crop duster.
Oh, really?
When I was a teenager. And so the crop duster would come in and fly down the field and spray or seed.
Okay.
And take off. And then you had a flag.
Yeah.
And then you'd have to walk so many feet down so that he wouldn't spray that area or seed that area.
Right, yeah.
So you could, and then you would wave your flag, and as he's coming out there, he looked at that flag and did that.
Did that get you hooked on flying?
Everything got me hooked. But anyway, I have to say this. Keeping the message to that is keep your eye on the target.
Yes.
Or you'll waver all over the place.
Absolutely.
But not in this case. You got to look back to look forward. This is President Trump, then Donald Trump, 1988. He's a young entrepreneur who saw something that nobody else saw, and he's talking to Oprah Winfrey in 1988. And take a look at this.
Last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
What do you think of this year's presidential race, the way it's shaping up?
Well, it's going to be very interesting. I think that probably George Bush has an advantage in terms of the election. I think that probably people would say that he's got like that little edge in terms of the incumbency, et cetera, et cetera. But I think Jesse Jackson's done himself very proud. I think Michael Dukakis has done one hell of a job. And George Bush has done a hell of a job. You know, they all went in there sort of as semi-underdogs, including George Bush, and they've all come out. I think people that are around all three of those candidates can be very proud of the jobs they've done.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined, I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing, this country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
So he still talked with his hands there.
And he was, I mean, that's Donald Trump right in there. I mean,
so what did that tell you? I mean, this guy had something in mind from day one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no really good reason. I shouldn't say good reason. There doesn't seem to be global politics on the mind of somebody who is a huge developer.
Yeah.
But he saw something and sensed something that was wrong even back in 1988.
And isn't it interesting how differently he was received by media, by those on the left? He brought up Jesse Jackson right away. He and Jesse Jackson were friends. He gave money to Jesse Jackson, right?
You know what? He gave him headquarters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He gave him real estate space for his campaign.
Yeah, what building? Was that in?
I don't know.
I did hear about that. You're right. So what changed? I mean, why did he become the devil to the left?
Well, you know the answer to that question.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting?
He ran against Hillary, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting?
What?
Did you see how he answered the question about who do you think is going to be the next candidate? He talked about everyone in the race and said they're doing, quote, a hell of a job.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Okay?
Yeah. Yes.
You talk about a politician. There was a guy with the right answer.
And he probably donated to all of them.
Okay. He probably did.
Yes.
Okay, and so you know what's interesting?
What?
He only mentioned one of them twice.
Bush.
There you go.
Yes. That's right.
So pay attention to how he operates. I'm going to give you 48 hours. 2 days later, well, I'm going to give you 5 days.
Yeah.
Now we're going to blow you up.
You kind of got an inside track on Trump, don't you?
Well, I read the book.
Okay.
I read the book. I read the book about, the art of the deal.
Right.
And it's pretty interesting.
Very much.
All right, Alan Drew will be with us.
Right.
He wrote a new book, Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup.
Oh.
And so speaking of politicians, Christine Drazan will be with us. She's running for governor.
Oh,
She was a minority leader in the House. She's now a senator. She got real close last time.
Yes.
She's running again. She seems to be the top Republican candidate.
Yeah, seems to be.
So I had a nice conversation with her, and we're going to air that interview coming up in a few minutes.
Cannot wait. All right. Well, in the foster care system, we know that one of the hardest realities is that siblings are oftentimes separated. But for one woman in Tallahassee, Florida, that wasn't an option. Ashley Anderson, a clinical social worker, had seen firsthand how the system works, and she knew she wanted to make a difference. So she became a foster parent. It all started with one call asking if she could take in a young girl named Anastasia. Ashley said yes. Then came another call for her sister, Aaliyah. Again, Ashley said yes. And then a third call about their baby sister, Antoinique. In just a few months, Ashley went from 0 kids to 3 sisters, all under one roof. When reunification with their biological family wasn't possible, Ashley was asked one final question: would she adopt them? Once again, she said yes. Today, they call themselves the A-Team, and thanks to one woman's unwavering love, 3 sisters didn't just find a home, they stayed together.
Yeah, beautiful.
Fantastic, yes.
You know,
and in Florida.
Florida.
Which brings to mind what's going on. And we have real problems in our state, in Oregon, with not only the foster care program, because it started there, but it's also now bled into the adoption program. And that is, if you are a parent of faith, you're going to get blocked from fostering or adopting because your faith beliefs don't align with the radical left that governs this state.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. I know
that's not hysteria.
No, I know a family that has left here specifically to move to Florida so they could adopt because they were denied here because of their faith.
Yeah. Well, folks, we have a chance to change all that in this state, and I hope we rise to do it. It's coming at us like a train wreck, so let's get it done. I take with you Psalm 133, verse 1. How good and pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. You getting along with everybody in your church?
What?
Remember, if your ministry doesn't work at home, don't export it. The first test of everything you believe is in your own backyard.
Boom, yeah.
Yeah, so sit next to that person you got a problem with and share communion with them. By the way, repent before you take communion.
Amen.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Stewardship begins with the knowledge that nothing belongs to us, but everything belongs to the Lord. This helps us to run a business not in the fear of lack, but in the assurance of His care and provision. Such a perspective eliminates the drive to sell and replaces it with a heart that says serve. This begins with serving our clients and coworkers with integrity and genuine care. That's why McKelly's is automotive service with a heart for God, and treating others as we ourselves would want to be treated. Our promise is to never sell our clients anything we don't believe they need. Another is to do all we can to meet other needs, such as shuttle service and loaner cars, or taking the time to really listen, even at times praying with our customers. Sometimes this means sacrifice, going above and beyond. But that's why I work for Kelly's Automotive Service, honoring God while serving people with honesty and integrity.
Go behind closed doors to witness biblical counseling with real people. Transformed, Monday and Thursday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and coming up in just a few moments, Drew Allen will be with us. He's the Vice President of Client Development there for Publius PR and the author of the book called America's Last Stand, Will You Vote to Save or Destroy America? Now, that was back in 2024, but he has a new book out, and we're going to talk to him about that coming up in just a few moments. He's a widely published columnist and the host of the popular Drew Allen podcast show. You can check that out. He does have a website, Drew Allen, Drew, D-R-E-W, Allen.substack.com. And there's a picture of that landing page. You can check that out as well. And his new book, he wrote a book called Clinton Hoax and Obama Coup, which is really interesting. So we're going to talk to him about that book. And now there's a picture of the cover of that new book, Clinton Hoax and Obama Coup. Okay, well, what's that all about? We're going to talk to him. Let's find out. DrewAllen.substack.com. Drew, good to see you, buddy. How are you?
Hey, brother. Good to be with you.
Thank you. You're a busy guy. Lots to talk about. All right, the book's out. Congratulations. What led you to do this?
Well, it was one of those stories that I'd followed closely since the beginning. You know, I think it kind of was part of my political awakening, right? This happened back in 2016. And when Tulsi Gabbard, who I had some affection for anyway because she had been a client at one point, we had done her book. She was the one who declassified the documents, many of the documents that were needed to put the final pieces together. Because before, there were a lot of books written about, you know, the Trump-Russia collusion, but the full picture wasn't presented because it couldn't have been because of all the declassification. So when she declassified, I dug into those documents and I could understand them because it was something I had studied. And I was really eager to explain how serious this was and what it meant to the layperson, because the reality is it can be very complicated because of media lies for so long and these pieces of information getting out here and there. And so it's hard for Americans to understand really what happened in a simple way. So I put this in a way that Americans, I hope, can understand simply.
You used two strong words, hoax and coup. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start with the Clinton hoax. How would you describe that in short layman's terms?
Well, imagine you're Hillary Clinton in 2016. Your whole dream, and your dream for a long time, has been to become president of the United States. And the Obama administration, the Democrat National Committee, are willing to make that happen. And so you're supposed to be a shoo-in. Finally, you've arrived. Well, unfortunately for you, because of events related to Benghazi years before, you're under investigation because it's come to light that you used a illegal private email server at home. You trafficked classified emails when you shouldn't. And now Peter Schweizer's on to you as well because he's written a book called Clinton Cash about how you sold out the Office of Secretary of State, your position, to enrich yourself via the Clinton Foundation. This is a very, very horrific thing to be facing. Suddenly, your entire dream of becoming president is facing annihilation and extinction. And so you are desperate to find a way to get rid of these scandals. You're not worried particularly about the criminal component because you can rely on the Obama administration to deal with that. You are bedfellows after all, and most of your scandals interlock. What you're concerned about is actually winning the election because you've been tarnished by what you've done. And so you have to come up with something wild, something preposterous, something huge in order to distract from your own scandals and turn yourself into a victim. And so her campaign hatches Trump-Russia collusion. Hey, you know, Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump are colluding to beat me in this election. And that's what happened.
I have to say, Drew, I think that last answer is one of the best I've ever heard of the whole mess.
Well, hopefully there's a lot more of that in the book.
Well, I know that, but well done. You encapsulated it very, very well. So let me just zero in on that a little bit. Do you think, even though she was trying to create this hoax with Russia collusion, what led her to do that pretty much stuck in the minds of the voters anyway, and that's why they voted for Donald Trump?
Yeah, it was an insurmountable obstacle for her. Hillary Clinton was never a likable person to begin with. She never polled well. She was a well-known politician, and she obviously could win a Senate seat in New York. But apart from that, she was a little bit delusional herself about what her prospects were on an election. I mean, she thought, kind of like Barack Obama, where it did work out, I'm a first. I could be the first female president. That was her big thing. And the American people didn't care. She certainly wasn't the woman that we were going to elect first. And so she was just so unlikable. She, cringe-inducing when she talked. The way she pandered to people, going on, I think, Charlemagne the God's show, right, with a largely black audience, and talking about how she carried hot sauce in her purse, to try and get down with black people. She'd go to churches and change the way she spoke, as if she was, from the hood or something like that. And obviously that wasn't jiving with anyone. And so, no, is the answer.
Benghazi, that turned out to be a huge mess. Was that one of the big things that blew up in her face?
Yeah, so this book actually starts with Benghazi, because without Benghazi, you never would have had Trump-Russia collusion, because it was Benghazi that led to investigations that revealed that Hillary Clinton was using the illegal server, and then subsequent closer looks that showed that, she was involved in pay-to-play schemes while she was Secretary of State. So Benghazi, just to remind people, that was when a premeditated terrorist attack killed Christopher Stevens, the U.S. ambassador in Libya, and 3 other Americans, including 2 Navy SEALs. And this was a Obama reelection. Remember, Perry? So he was a month and a half away from his own reelection. So the Benghazi scandal, which is essentially what happened, was that Barack Obama and his Oval Office, his advisors, they're the ones that instructed the CIA to revise the talking points related to what happened in Benghazi 12 times. And then they sent Susan Rice out to do 5 Sunday shows to lie to the American people on behalf of Barack Obama, to say that it was not a premeditated terrorist attack. It was a spontaneous protest that was a reaction to an anti-Muslim, anti-Muhammad video, which everyone knew was a lie in the administration and the intelligence community. Now, for a while, a lot of people thought this was a Clinton scandal, right? That she was trying to protect the fact that she didn't supply enough protection and so on and so forth. While that's true, ultimately this was superseded by Barack Obama, because he was the one who was trying to protect his reelection. And Benghazi was a flashpoint for a couple of reasons, Perry. One, it exposed that his foreign policy was a failure and a disaster. He had spearheaded the NATO effort to, kill Gaddafi, which had created a very dangerous place in Libya, even more dangerous than under that dictator. And it led to, obviously, the murder of Christopher Stevens and others. But at the same time, Benghazi was a cover, that temporary mission facility, it was called, where the ambassador was. That was a cover-up for a CIA annex down the street. And we didn't know the CIA annex existed until the Benghazi scandal. And what that CIA annex was involved in was trafficking arms to rebels. And they weren't just doing it in Libya. They were actually involved in preparing to do the same thing in Syria. And so you're running for re-election. You have all these scandals. Okay, well, you've got this CIA annex. You're now trafficking arms to Syria to commit your failure in Libya over there. You've got all these dead Americans. And so he wanted to win re-election, obviously, so he buried it. You mentioned that that you built a lot of the material for your book on newly declassified material. And you must have spent hours going through that. Was there anything that really grabbed your attention that you didn't know was there? Oh, yeah. I guess 3 things. I'll be succinct as I can here, right? That's the point of the book, to try and explain it simply. We'll see if I can do it here with you. Okay. The irony of ironies of the declassifications is many of these declassifications involve the fact that the Russians were spying on everybody. And the FBI and the CIA and intelligence community were intercepting Russian memos, right? They basically think of it like Russian journalists. They're spies, and this information is intended for the Kremlin. So it's not propaganda. Their objective is to be as accurate as possible in informing the Kremlin about what's happening in the United States of America. And the great irony is that the most honest and comprehensive encapsulation or description of what the Democrat Party and the Obama administration did to this country with Trump-Russia collusion comes from the Russians. So that's takeaway number one. Number two, when I was a kid, Perry, there was this movie. It was called I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was this kind of horror movie, and these 4 drunk teenagers are involved in a hit and run. And they throw the body in the ocean, and they swear each other to secrecy, and they think they're going to get away with it. But it turns out there was a lone fisherman on the shore in the dark that they didn't see who saw the whole thing. And so they start getting these notes they start getting these notes that say, I know what you did last summer. So in this analogy, Barack Obama and Clinton's and all those involved in this Trump-Russia collusion hoax, and before that, they're like these 4 drunk teenagers that think they're going to get away with a crime. But the Russians are like the lone fishermen on the shore, and they are documenting in real time what the Democrats are doing. So think about this. We know that the Obama administration and the Clinton campaign were colluding to get rid of her email scandal, to get rid of the investigations into her pay-to-play schemes. They were trying to make it all go away. At the same time that they're trying to make this go away, they're intercepting Russian memos that are documenting that they're trying to make this go away. They're documenting that Clinton is forming a plan in real time to tie Trump to Vladimir Putin to distract from an email scandal. And then on top of this, the FBI is supposed to be investigating Russian breaching of the DNC servers. Well, a lot of these emails from the Russians that are incriminating Democrats in the Obama administration, well, they're coming from people like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who's the head of the DNC. And in some of these emails that the Russians have intercepted, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is saying things like, hey, to her donors and everyone else, hey, don't worry about Hillary Clinton. She deleted all those emails in a timely fashion from her server, so there's no need to worry. The FBI don't have anything on her, right? There's information and emails about there with the Russians saying, well, Attorney General Loretta Lynch has established a back-channel communication with the Clinton campaign to update her on her email scandal. And all this stuff was proven by the tarmac meeting between, Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton right before James Comey dismissed the scandal. So all of this information is true. But the FBI, at the same time, they're trying to dismiss and get rid of and ignore the crime scene of Hillary Clinton. The Russians are in the DNC servers, and they're supposed to be investigating the Russian hack. They can't go in the DNC servers and pull that information. It's like bringing the crime scene back to them. And so I think that's also why they allowed the DNC to hire CrowdStrike to outsource the investigation of the DNC servers and the Russian, alleged Russian breach, because it was a way for the FBI to get out of there. They didn't want to see that. They were stumbling on a crime scene they were trying to cover up, right?
All right, you got 2 more, and I want to come back. But one quick question before I take a break. So that was followed up with this interesting time when James Comey goes to Hillary's house, supposedly, and they have this long meeting. It comes out there's no there. Nobody in their right mind would prosecute that. And I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he comes out of there and basically lets Hillary off the hook of everything, right?
It was really unprecedented for a couple reasons. One, it was unprecedented that the FBI director would be the one to go and make those announcements. That was actually Attorney General Loretta Lynch. That was Attorney General Lynch's job. And the fact that she didn't do that press conference herself was indication that there was, problems behind the scenes. And that was related to the optics of her meeting with Bill Clinton on the tarmac for 30 minutes. And also, we found out from the Russian memos that I talk about in the book that were declassified, there were real concerns because they did go and talk to Lynch and others at the DOJ about the fact that they were communicating with potentially Hillary Clinton to give them updates and that this was a compromised situation. So for the optics, he came out and did that. But one of the things he said, and I'm paraphrasing too, but it's pretty darn close, was that if anybody else would have done what Hillary Clinton did, it would be a crime. But because it's Hillary Clinton, we're not going to do anything. That's basically what the press conference said.
Wow. All right, let me take a break. Check out the book, Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup. Where can they get that, Drew?
It's on Amazon, and unlike my previous book, it has not been censored so far.
All right, check it out on Amazon. Drew Allen, there it is. It's called Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup. And also check out a way to connect with him, drewallen.substack.com. We'll be right back.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Tackling the tough issues facing America and our nation's freedom. That's Sekalo on the Dove TV.
DAs around the country finding who they want to prosecute and then determining what crime they could charge them with.
You can't believe this is the country we're living in, that this is happening.
A bold half hour hosted by ACLJ's Jordan and Logan Sekalo, taking you inside the battle of constitutional and political freedom, discussing issues that matter to you and your family.
This is just not the right precedent we want to be setting, even if we don't like Donald Trump.
This is just all-out chaos, and that's what could happen very soon.
Watch Sekalo for issues that matter to you, addressing the problems of Christian rights in the workplace, school, the marketplace, and protecting human life.
I hope this doesn't have to go all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Be in the know with Sekalo. Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday only on the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome back, and always an honor to have with us Drew Allen. He's the host of his own podcast, The Drew Allen Show, Vice President of Client Development for Publius PR, and the author of a couple of books, America's Last Stand. Of course, that was back in 2024, but this one is the one that you really need to take a look at, Clinton Hoax and Obama Coup, available on Amazon. Check it out. There's a picture of the cover on the screen there, and check out the way to connect with him, drewallen.substack.com. Okay, Drew, I think you mentioned two that you came out of after reviewing newly declassified material. Was there another one or a couple more?
Oh, yeah, there's many. I mean, one of the astonishing things, here's what's interesting when you do a book like this too, Perry, is you just miss so many things that actually are presented or reported on at the time too, but they don't seem to mean anything. And then once you dig deeper, these things come staring you in the face. One of them is the real scandal the media should have covered in all of this is why the FBI and the Obama administration allowed the Russians to go probing the DNC servers for months and months and months and months and months without saying anything, essentially. The Gang of Eight was briefed in the summer of 2015 that the Russians were hacking political institutions, that they were in the DNC, that they were, looking into Donald Trump, that they were everywhere. This is the summer of 2015. We didn't learn about Trump-Russia collusion until almost summer of 2016, a year. So what is going on here? And that's why I say the FBI, one of the questions I raised, Perry, is, let me do it this way. People should remember that one of the greatest disgraces of all of this is that the FBI used raw intelligence, right, unverified intelligence from the Steele dossier, which we know is all BS. So they used that raw intelligence to justify spying on the Trump campaign. And at the same time, they had raw intelligence from the Russians documenting the plan that Clinton hatched to tie Donald Trump to Russia, amongst other incriminating elements, and they dismissed that. So you have raw intelligence from two sources, the Steele dossier and the Russian memos, and one they dismiss, and the other they elevate to gospel in order to justify, opening Operation Crossfire Hurricane, for example. And the media should have asked the question why, the FBI obviously handed over the investigation to CrowdStrike, which is something they would never do before. And again, I think it was for two reasons. They didn't dare go in the DNC servers and extract everything and look at it closely themselves because they were trying to bury that. I mean, if they're getting memos from the Russians that are Debbie Wasserman Schultz emails and she's at the DNC, I mean, what kind of emails are flying between the DNC? What kind of emails, do have the Russians intercepted as well? And so I believe that it was two reasons. One, to, move away, distance themselves from the scene of the crime. And then also they needed CrowdStrike to go and affirm 100% that it was the Russians so they could, go forward with this Trump-Russia collusion hoax, because the FBI wasn't even certain that it was the Russians.
Okay, so you got the Clintons, you got the Obamas, you got the Comeys, the Drennans, FBI, DOJ. They all seem to be involved in this with the goal to get Hillary Clinton elected as president. It all falls apart. Trump wins. All this now is exposed. Declassified information material backs up every conspiracy theory that was out there that this was a phony deal. And they all walk. Now what? Oop, did we lose? Did we lose them? Did we lose them? Okay. All right, let me... Okay, let me, first of all, back up a little bit while I try to reconnect. Check out the book. It's called Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup. Put that up there, Scott. There's a picture of the screen, on the screen of the book cover, Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup. And then, of course, the connection is drewallen.substack.com. All right, sorry about that, Drew. Don't know what happened. Welcome back. I guess the question I have is, you probably heard my spell down there, but you got the Clintons, you got the Obamas, you got the DOJ, you got the FBI. They're all colluding here for one goal in mind, and that is to get Hillary Clinton elected as president. It falls apart. Trump wins. It's all proven to be a lie. You come up with this book with declassified material that certainly proves all of this is true, no longer a conspiracy. But there they sit, free as a bird. Are we past statutes of getting any of these people to be accountable?
We're past statutes for a lot of them, unfortunately. We're at the 10-year mark here. The worst case scenario, Perry, is, people study this, and, the reason I wrote this book is, there can be accountability in one way if the American people actually commit to heart and understand exactly what they did, because this was the most serious attack on our republic in modern American history, and really all of American history. It was a coup, and it's, the book is a simple title, Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup, because, it was a Clinton hoax, more or less, throughout the election season, and the FBI still opened an operation to spy on Trump, and the FBI knew they didn't have evidence for it. We know it was all a hoax, right? But then it's Barack Obama who elevated it to a coup when he ordered the intelligence community assessment in early December. So after Trump won re-election, after Trump won election, what they should have done is just let it go. But they turned it into a coup to hobble him as he came into office instead.
One of the biggest things that was, I guess there's so many violations here, you're just left in shock. But one of the big ones was the billions of dollars on, literally, cash on pallets delivered in the middle of the night to Iran. How come nothing came of that?
Well, Obama was truly the Teflon president. Nothing stuck to him, and there were many reasons for that. I mean, one, you couldn't attack the first black president, You know, it was off limits. You know, you were a racist. People were still afraid back there. They bought into that sort of line of attack from the left and the media that shielded him with it. And of course, we know because of Trump what the deep state really is. He exposed it. And Barack Obama is that deep state. All those people around him are the deep state. You know, that's what's interesting. You know, many of the players in this book, you know, you'll see them show up again in the Biden administration, for example. They never go away. People like Mike Morrell, people like Victoria Nuland, Bob Mueller even, you know, I mean, God bless his family. He just recently passed away, but he was part of that establishment that was involved in, he was a participant in many of these things. I mean, Bob Mueller, for example, was involved in, you know, labeling the Fort Hood attack by a jihadist, Nidal Hassan, who jumped on the table, shouted Allahu Akbar, and killed, you know, 13 Americans. Bob helped Barack Obama label that workplace violence.
They're still trying to get Comey to come in and testify, but okay, let's say they do. They subpoena him to come in and testify. So what? Where does it go?
Yeah. Well, we need, obviously, grand juries. We tried this once with James Comey, and it was a little bit embarrassing because Trump's DOJ, Pam Bondi didn't anticipate somehow that the Democrats would exploit the fact that this temporary appointment, you know, wasn't going to be valid to bring forward these charges. So, you know, so James Comey got off the hook on really a technicality. But the point is, Perry, and I lay this out in the book too, and this is not, you know, speculation. Many people involved in this, including John Brennan, they all did commit legitimate crimes. They lied under oath. You know, James Comey, he leaked his notes, you know, to a friend to feed to a reporter so that they could launch the Mueller investigation. There's no telling what crimes, you know, Mark Elias committed, but he was instrumental and is kind of the linchpin of much of this, to be honest, because everyone came through him, and they were able to hide behind attorney-client privilege in deposition after deposition after deposition. And, you know, the reason we got to the 2020 stolen election, the reason we got to unprecedented lawfare ahead of the 2024 election is because there was never accountability for any of this. And again, the reason this book starts with Benghazi and Obama is because that's when the poison first starts.
Yeah.
You know?
Did, kind of a side note, do you think Mueller was trying to distance himself after the special prosecution that he came up with nothing?
You know, it's interesting. So I have a client, friend, longtime client who was a federal prosecutor, and he worked with Bob Mueller. And his take on Mueller, of course, is, you know, in a personal capacity, he was a gentleman and a nice guy. And his take is that, you know, maybe Robert Mueller should be commended because he, you know, what the Obamas and everyone wanted him to do, obviously, was to find evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. And Robert Mueller obviously confirmed that there wasn't evidence of Trump-Russia collusion. So in that, he sees a semi-hero. I don't, because I don't have any personal tie-ins or, you know, connection with Robert Mueller that would prevent me from just looking at it the way I see it. And that is that he was a willful participant in one of the greatest attacks on the American Republic. The Mueller investigation, $32 million spent. That should have never happened. Everyone knew that there was no Trump-Russia collusion, and yet they used that to, you know, investigate other people around Trump. You know, I mean, they used that to go after and get people for process crimes and everything else and to ruin lives.
Yeah. General Flynn and others, you know.
Well, and Perry, now some of these people, including General Flynn, you know, Catholics for Catholics and these organizations that are anti-Semitic, I don't know what's going on with Flynn and these others now. They seem to be turning on Trump.
Yeah. Good to see you. Thank you. Congratulations on the book. It's now out. It's called Clinton Hoax, Obama Coup. I know you've been working on this a long time, Drew, so congratulations. That's giving birth to a book is pretty painful.
That's right. The closest thing we can relate to women.
DrewAllen.substack.com. God bless you, friend. Let's stay in touch.
Sounds good. Thanks, brother.
Okay, bro.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary, sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare, where your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living. Your home.
Once again, our very own Dove TV was recognized for excellence by the National Religious Broadcasters with the prestigious Station of the Year Award for 2026.
And this year's recipient of TV Station of the Year Award is Dove TV.
This makes 9 times the Dove has been honored by our peers with this celebrated national award. We're grateful, and another reason to stay encouraged and informed by watching and supporting the Dove TV.
Okay, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and I am really delighted to have a very special person in the studio with us today, Christine Drazan. She is running for governor for the state of Oregon. She is the top candidate for governor, and she's here, and we're honored, and hi.
Thank you for having me. It's always so good to be with you.
Good to see you.
I love it.
Are you getting any sleep?
No.
Okay, then you're not supposed to. You're the candidate.
I hope this isn't HD.
Okay.
I will suffer if it's
all right.
too careful.
Well, you're in it. It's going good. I'm hearing good things about you. Just give us a little background. You've been in public service for a long time.
Yeah.
You came close a couple of years ago when you ran against or ran for governor. Give us a little bit of a background.
So I actually only ran for office in 2018 for the first time. Ran for the House. But before that, I was a person that was staffing legislators when Republicans had majority control in the House and the Senate, and had the experience of seeing what that leadership looked like. And it was a privilege to be there. But, you know, this last race and the run for governor last time, it was painfully close. But I think that the challenges that we face as a state have just gotten worse. I mean, things just have not gotten any better.
Yeah.
And I think Oregonians themselves are starting to really pay attention in a different way, recognize they can't afford food, they can't afford rent, utilities are skyrocketing, and they're looking around saying, okay, that didn't work.
Yeah.
We need to, if we want change, we need to choose change. And I am excited to be back in the race, and it's been a lot of support and a lot of old friends. Good to see old friends again.
Right.
But to get this done this time, it is going to take everybody committing to pull together and pull it off.
Why is it more critical this time than last time?
Because it's hard to imagine that we can get worse and worse.
Yes.
But that is where we're sitting. I think last time we thought potentially, you know, we were still coming out of COVID mindset. You know, maybe a lot of what was going on with our economy was still COVID. Maybe some of the stuff that was going on in our schools was still COVID. Now we know it wasn't. Now we know it's leadership. We've got Tina Kotek, who has presided over declines in affordability, worst housing starts that we've seen in 15 years, education, fourth grade reading, worst in the nation. 8th graders for math, second worst in the nation. This is leadership. I mean, we are lagging everybody else. All their kiddos are recovering from having school shut down. Ours aren't. So I think people are recognizing it, that we can't allow this to continue. We just can't live this way. It's one thing to have a blip. It's one thing to have a bad cycle. This is a bad decade, and we need change.
One of the biggest things that we've seen in a long time hit our state was the mismanagement of the budget shortfall for ODOT.
Mm-hmm.
How did we go from $350 million shortfall to a $4.3 billion bill? Can you tell me that?
It's the Democrat math. It's new math.
New math.
It's new math. So we have people in charge that just don't see an end to what they're willing to take out of your pocket. The budget could be balanced, as you said, $350 million. That's all we really had to do. And I gave them proposal after proposal. This is how you can balance with existing money. And honestly, the agency came to us as well and said, we asked them, what's outside of your core mission? Can you just outline for us what you're doing that isn't core mission? They delivered a packet. It was extensive. Hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on things that aren't roads, things that aren't transportation safety. And that's where we started with our rebalance proposals. In the end, again, they tightened the belt for ODOT without a new dime in new taxes, and they could have done it all along. So it really was just an aggressive determination to feed the public union machine. And it's just special interest. I mean, I hate to sound jaded about it, but it is absolutely the influence of special interests where there is no end to how much money that they want to pour into that machine. And Tina's willing.
The citizens spoke up loud and clear
They did.
with a citizens referendum. And first of all, what did you think of that pushback, given the fact that even that went through the political machine, delay for signatures, but they still pulled it off with a huge amount.
Yes.
Just speak to that alone. What did that tell you when the citizens rose up and did this?
So I saw it coming during the session. We had the original proposal, it's a shocking number, but the original proposal in the long session for that tiny shortfall, $15 billion in new taxes. And that was the original ask. They wanted the payroll tax to be 5 times what it is today. I mean, you know, that 4.3 billion doubled it, but their original ask, every single category, was quadrupling it. And so Oregonians rose up even during the long session and said that ain't happening.
Yeah.
And so we heard from Oregonians that whole session. Democrats even got, you know, kind of cold feet. And so I wasn't surprised. I wasn't even the slightest bit surprised. I felt so strongly that Oregonians were paying attention just because they had to, out of sheer necessity. They couldn't afford not to. I felt from the minute that thing passed, I was confident that Oregonians would sign enough petitions to get that on the ballot.
All right, and the trickery continued to
Always.
move it from November to the May primary. Is that still being contested?
It is done.
So it will be on the May ballot.
It will be on the May ballot.
All right, so it appears from what I'm listening out there through other media sources, there's going to be a substantial effort for a turnout for the May primary.
Yes.
What do you think?
I think it's good. I think it's positive. I think that, again, Oregonians are paying attention, so I think they're going to show up in droves. Normally it's low turnout. I mean, you only can get a full ballot if you're a member of a party.
Right.
So, you know, the 40%, the largest party in our state's not affiliated now. Those folks don't always vote in the primary. They don't even always vote in the general, but they don't always vote in a primary. And this time they're paying attention. It's going to go down. It's going to be historic how badly that thing gets beaten.
Okay, I was going to go there. So it goes down.
Yep.
Her name's on the ballot for the primary. It seems like to me that would be the opportunity for a Republican governor.
It is the opportunity because it's her defining issue. She personally vouched for the tax. She personally said, this is my leadership, this is my proposal, this is what we need to do as Oregonians. And she was just crushed by the people. They told her no. I think this is an extraordinary year because people are paying attention, and when you pay attention here in Oregon, there's so much common sense around us that when people have the facts, and you have the facts and you can point to a better vision, it's common sense to make a different choice.
When you become governor, have you prioritized your agenda?
Yeah, it is
Numero uno.
Numero uno. I'm going to kick off the party by tearing up executive orders that are driving up costs for Oregon. Oregonians don't even realize how many costs are associated at the gas pump and in food prices and in the cost of doing business, building anything, is driven up by executive orders that Tina Kotek has put her signature on. And I will immediately dismantle those executive orders. That's one. Day one, tear them up.
Okay.
And then also just the opportunity to fire the unelected bureaucrats that are making life more complicated and just crushing people with a regulatory environment here. And that's also day one. And then we also have an opportunity to balance the state's budget and get back to core functions and focus on the issues that Oregonians are asking us to. They want safe communities. They want to have, a fully functioning state police. They want the people that are on our streets that are homeless to either get help or not stay. I mean, this is uncomplicated for Oregonians. So an emergency order for homelessness around addiction, and homelessness for me is more focused on addiction. Right now we have people living on our streets that are 85 to 90% of those folks are addicted to something, and they're not getting the help that they need. And so we're talking about getting the budget back in shape is job one. I have to present a budget to the legislature within 6 weeks.
Whoa.
$139 billion is what we have today. And I guarantee you there is a nice fat percentage of that is squandered and wasted. But I will produce a budget that prioritizes core functions and is balanced, and I will stick to it.
What about agency audits?
Yeah, I believe in audits. To get that budget done, we've got to audit these agencies. We have to.
Wasn't ODOT basically saying audit us, find a way to save this money?
Well,
in a roundabout way?
Yeah, in a roundabout way. And every time they'd look at ODOT with an audit, they would find an extra $1 billion that ODOT didn't know was there, or they were planning for that they never received. So the challenge we have right now with our audits is it's not an audit that's based on deliverables and outcomes and performance. We have audits today, but all they're doing is they're making sure that 1 + 1 = 2. They're not confirming that those $2 that were spent where they were spent should have been spent there, or that they had the authority to do that. And so the kind of audits I'm talking about really are kind of 360 performance-based audits that take into account what those outcomes are and whether or not they're serving Oregonians.
One of the things that I run into a lot in interviewing a lot of people, especially in Oregon, they're really concerned about the future of small business.
Yeah.
Or business in general. I mean, if we lose a Nike or we lose a Lithium Motors, this is major stuff. And so how would you make Oregon business friendly?
Yeah, for me, that is going to be something that is a game changer. Because our state can thrive. It can be the best place in the nation to have a business, start a business, grow your business. So for me, that means you have to reduce the regulatory pressure. We are one of the highest regulated states in the nation. And every single time we have an unnecessary regulation, it just drives up costs. And it makes people look across the border to a different state. And they start to think not just about taxes and the tax burden, but they start to look about whether or not that government wants them there. And I even say this to businesses: I want you here. Please stay. What can we do to help? How can we help you? And the answer is yes, unless no is required. And so the answer is yes. You untangle problems, you clear the way for growth, and you let the private sector engine take off. So that is absolutely executive branch work that I'm excited about.
Okay. You touched on the word that's the big word in politics these days, affordability.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like the catch-all word. How would you describe affordability in the state of Oregon?
We're unaffordable today.
Okay.
There's no other way to look at it. We have the 4th and 5th highest gas and food prices in the nation. So set aside all of these larger issues that are happening right now in our world. With or without that, Oregon is the 4th and 5th highest, most expensive place to fill up your car and buy a loaf of bread. And that's directly tied to our regulatory environment and our tax environment for our state. We have a sales tax in Oregon that Oregonians don't even realize. We have a commercial activities tax that just stacks on top and it just gets built into the price of all the things that are here. So we are unaffordable because 20 cents of every gallon of gas is tied to a regulatory scheme that is a political agenda around climate, where Oregon should bear the burden for global climate change. And every gallon of gas, Oregonians paid 20 cents towards that agenda. And that affects everything else.
Let me talk to you personally a little bit. You're a person of faith.
Yep.
Do you feel called to do this?
I absolutely feel called, no matter what I'm doing, to serve God. And I feel called to serve others. And I'm drawn to this kind of service because there's so much direct accountability where you can do good, and then people get to decide if you actually did or not.
Being in politics, you get hit with everything.
Yeah.
You know, you have a lot of wounds from being up there.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of good people up there. But we never hear about them.
Yeah.
Is there a good crew for you to work with on day one?
I believe that that there are good-hearted people in Oregon that are competent and committed to the future of our state. But I also do think that we are going to have to cast a wider net. It's been 40 years of having a single philosophical approach, of having a single kind of agenda that's grow the machine, grow the machine, grow the machine. And I am going to work with Oregonians that are here that want to be a part of serving the state and improving everything from, dynamics in the family to opportunity for jobs and, the stability for seniors, all of it. And then I'm going to look across the nation and find people that have already done this work in other places and have a track record of success.
Education?
Education is a huge one.
It's a big one. And you've mentioned our performance is really nothing to be very proud about. I don't know. I mean, there was a big announcement today with the Department of Education. They're going to move all the student loans over to the Department of Treasury, and that does impact Oregon. But our scores are not good. What can we do here?
We have got to recommit to academics. Now, I talk to school board members all the time. Oregon has shifted away from schools are there to teach to schools are there to nurture. And I think we have to love kids. We have to take care of the kids that are in our care. But the number one priority there is to make sure that they become academically proficient. If you look at whole child education, they are standing in for parents. And it is an actual agenda where teachers, instead of being expected to competently share their expertise and teach kids a particular subject matter, are being asked instead to identify all kinds of issues, whether it's identity, whether or not it has to do with social and emotional stability. We know that our kids are struggling. We know that social media has been harmful, more harmful than helpful to kids. And we also know that families are struggling. When we legalized drugs in Oregon, it affected the kids of in those families. All that stuff is true, but schools are still the only place that kids can go today for a public education where their job is to help them learn how to read and write and do math so that they can support themselves and their families in the future and contribute.
So how do you do a curriculum audit on education? I mean, how did woke get in there and take the place of American history?
Yeah, when 2 + 2, if it equals 4, it's racist. We have a problem. And it got in there slowly over time. A lot of it had to do, I think, with our teacher programs and the people that were choosing the curriculum to teach our teachers, and then that ends up getting into our classrooms. It didn't happen overnight. It's happened slowly, and to be able to fix it isn't going to happen overnight, but I can tell you that the curriculum itself can be pulled out. The question is whether or not the teachers themselves will continue down the same path that they've been on. We have great teachers, but some of them have now adopted an agenda that I don't think serves families or students.
You are very well experienced. You know how bills are actually created and voted and passed. You've been on the front line for a long time. What's your long-term vision for Oregon?
That Oregon would be the best place in the nation, just the best. It already is, from an environmental perspective, an extraordinary place to live. We have we're committed to maintaining this beautiful place and preserving it. It needs to be the best place to come and start a family. It needs to be the best place to come and get an education. And it needs to be the best place to come to live out your dreams, to start a business, and to find a job you love.
Okay, look into that camera right there and tell people why they should vote for you.
I am committed to serving Oregonians. That is why I'm running for governor. There is an opportunity in this particular year for Oregonians to stand up for their future, to stand up for their kids, whether they have them or not today, for their own hopes and dreams and their own future. We will absolutely turn our state around once we make the decision to do it. It's not in anybody's hands but ours. We are the ones that can get this done, and I would be grateful to have the vote and the support of Oregonians across our state to work with them to turn our state around.
All right. ChristineForOregon.com is the website, ChristineForOregon.com. There's a picture of the landing page there on the screen. You can get involved, support the campaign, learn more about her positions. Again, ChristineForOregon.com. By the way, it's Christine, not Christina. I saw that. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Tina doesn't know my name.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's pretty funny. Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Best
you.
of luck to you. All right, we'll see you next time.
The 71.5 Golf Challenge arrives Saturday, May 16th with a 4-person scramble, morning and afternoon shotguns, and a 6:30 award social. Register your team by April 1st for an early bird special. Score the team player pack for just $20 instead of $100 with the code EARLYBIRDIE. Become a sponsor and help kids across Southern Oregon. Visit 715.org or call 541-779-3275. At the 71.5 Golf Challenge, your drive saves lives.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Jesus is the answer for the world today. Above him there's no other, 'cause Jesus is the way. Sing along.
Well, welcome back. I wanted to just take a few moments here at the end of Focus Today to say again thank you for your continued support of the Dove and all the platforms that the Lord has us involved in. And I also wanted to just let you know that a couple weeks ago I mentioned that we were about 19% down in our budget. Actually, that's gotten down to 24% below budget. And so I say that to let you know that we certainly are asking for your prayerful consideration in helping us. However, let me say this. I have talked to other local ministries here in our own backyards, some in the state. I sit on some national boards. I've been talking to some of our friends out there. It seems a lot of the ministries now are falling behind in their budget. And I can't help but think it's a couple of things. Obviously, the war, and in particular, the gas prices are certainly impacting people's budget, and all that's real stuff. And so we understand that. But I just want to say that make sure that you prayerfully consider what the Lord would have you do. Don't take from your church. That's your first obligation. And it shouldn't be an obligation. It should be a blessing. It should be just something that you willfully and just joyfully support, because that's where you are fed. If you're involved in the ministry, think about this. I know a lot of ministries out there. I talked to 4 or 5 just yesterday. They're also down in their budget as well. So certainly consider praying for them and supporting them. And then the Dove, if the Lord would have you to help us, then you can go online at theDove.us, or certainly call us anytime at 541-776-5368. But let me say this. When there are times of anxiety like we're living in today, where everybody is just worried, and rightfully so, what's the war going to do? How's it going to end up? If you read all the headlines, there's a million opinions out there of where it is and where it's going to go and how good it is and how bad it is and all that. And then you drive by a gas station today and you see these prices up in the high $4 and $5 range. You kind of go, oh my stars, what's happening here? That's all real stuff. But it also provides, from our perspective, an unbelievable opportunity. We have more people than ever tuning into the Dove, whether it's on the radio side or on the TV side or through the website or through the app, that are investigating faith. They're investigating a relationship with God. Is God real? Are these the end times? Is there really a heaven? Will I spend eternity literally somewhere? These are basic questions that a lot of people are asking. So when the times are anxious like this, people begin to search their souls and their hearts and want to know, is there a God and does he love me? And I will say one thing about Christian media. We can get into homes and into cars and into phones and into apps and into headsets unlike anybody else, because people can tune in privately and listen, and that is happening. We're hearing from people literally all over the world that are investigating faith and turning their lives to Christ. And a lot of people are getting answers to their tough questions. So when you support the Dove, understand that your investment here literally goes global. It just goes out there like that. And a lot of times we don't know where it's going. We don't even know who's watching or listening. But when we hear back, it's very encouraging. And that response has been bigger than ever. So pray about what the Lord have you to do to maybe help us with this shortfall, but certainly don't take from your church or any other ministry. And if you're involved in a ministry, ask them what their needs are and help them as well. But consider where the Lord has you involved financially in ministry, whether it's your church or ministry, and support them. Thank you so very much. And God bless you for being a Dove partner.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.